that you never will.
Oh, boy!
That stuff is.
Yes!
Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you every fucking game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3! Win!
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking clout. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, I slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Tommy. And joining me tonight is Jarek from Jan Sports. Mikey is on a business trip. So Jarek was kind enough to join me tonight, so I didn't have to go solo. So you guys didn't have to just hear my sorry-ass voice all night long. Jarek, what up, man?
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, I'm back here again on this channel. Hopefully you guys enjoy some of my company and my little weird avatar profile over there. So no, man, but no, I'm glad to be back, man. We I wasn't here last time, man, but we probably one of the worst coaching blunders I think I have seen this season, and we better clean it up for Houston if we're going to try to go for the #1 seed, because I still can't get over that.
Yeah. Actually, we'll dive into that a little bit, and then we'll move on to the Ravens game. But because I didn't really get to talk to you too much about the Ravens debacle on Sunday night. So yeah, first of all, what was your thoughts on that pathetic showing by the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football against it?
It made I need to see we need to have some sort of video footage of these coaches of what are the meetings like with the coaches? What are they discussing? Because I have no idea what that game plan was. And listen, I can take getting our asses kicked if we just say, you know what, we stick with the initial game plan that worked against this team before, and Baltimore just figured it out. They exploited it and they figured it out. I can understand that. But you went with the game plan that literally made no sense, right? We'll start on defense. On the defensive side of the ball, you decided to come out in this too high bullcrap sort of defensive formation, and then you tried to disguise zero. You tried to disguise one, and you drop back down to like a cover 3, cover 6, sort of area. Why are you doing that? Why?
Right.
Is it because of see, my biggest guess is it the linebackers? Are you trying to compensate for the linebackers? Because guess what happened? And guess what happened? The one thing that you feared of letting the tight ends get it over the top of you, it still happened this game. So that was out of the woodworks. Against the Baltimore Ravens, the best way to defend against Baltimore is you have to bring the safeties down. You got to bring them down. You have to play aggressive. You got to start sending Dorian Williams a little over. I mean, for the most part. But again, you cannot play base. You cannot play honest. You cannot play this too high disguised sort of defense. It's not going to work against this team. You're not doing it against a Baltimore team that runs heavy sets. That runs that Shanahan run scheme where they run a lot of zone. It's not going to work against that football team based off of their personnel with Patrick McCart, who was just tearing up our inside linebackers up. It's not going to work. You have to be aggressive against the Baltimore Ravens, because guess what? When you're playing in that the best way, everyone keeps, and this is why I hate Mel Kiper for saying that too high should be banned. No, because a team like the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, teams that are run heavy, What do you think? What do you think they're gonna do? If they see Ty too high, they'll take that every chance they get because that's what they want to do. They want to run the football. Their offense is predicated off of the running game, right? They will
Right.
you off the clock because guess what? That's gonna happen. If you're running RPO or if you're running more play action, it's you. Eventually, these safeties are going to have to come down, or these linebackers have to come down, and this is where you can get the overrides. This is where you can get the crossers, the post corners. This is where Lamar Jackson pre-snap can identify certain matchups, and then he can take over the top of you. Take over the top of you. So I have no idea why we were playing like it was almost like, okay, you know what? This defense worked the first 3 weeks. So we're going to continue to run it until eventually a team is gonna manhandle us. Well, guess what? The Ravens did that. Everyone praising Lamar Jackson like he's the second coming of just Joe Montana or Tom Brady. Like all of a sudden Lamar is the MVP. He didn't have to do too much.
No,
Lamar made 2 spectacular throws over the top that I got to give him a lot of credit for. But besides that, it was easy. I give Todd Monken a lot of credit because he did you know what? Even then, I don't want to really give him that much credit because he didn't have to do too much. We gave him the perfect formula to beat this defense, which is running more of an RPO based offense, running some mesh for the most part, and then just again we dominate them on the line of scrimmage, control the clock, run some quarterback sweeps, some quarterback draws. By the way, again, when was the last time we started running a quarterback draw where you're just running empty and for the most part you could just run straight down? When was the last time we ran that? So I don't know. Like defensively, it was just a weird game plan. I have no idea why we're in that cover high 2 look in the first place, knowing the biggest way to destroy cover too high, to destroy too high is by literally running the football. It makes no sense. And then offensively, I mean, it's just no crossers. No mesh concepts. Where was the motion that we were running the first 3 weeks? We predicated our game off of screen passes. And Baltimore with Kyle Hamilton, they sent Marlon Humphrey in on Shakir. They made him go to Shakir and made him play again. Just made him play against the run. Made him play against those screen passes. Kyle Hamilton, they just kept bringing him down constantly to just watch out for this to destroy the screen. We had no answer for it at all. It's just we didn't attack the short or intermediate. It was just I have no idea the game plan that we ran. It was disgusting, just pure disgusting.
I got you. Scott, we're talking because I didn't get to catch up with Jarek about the game, so you're gonna have to deal with it for a little bit because we're gonna touch base a little bit. It's a long show. We'll get to the Texans game. Don't worry, Scott. I know you're tired of hearing it. It's been you've been probably hearing it on more than just my podcast, because I know you guys venture out to other podcasts and you're ready to move on. But I didn't really get to talk to Jarek, so I want Jarek's thoughts on it and give you a little bit more of mine. So there was a good comment in here, and I don't think it's so much. I got to be honest with you. I don't know if it's so much that I'm more about disappointed that that they gave Ed Oliver the money. I think of course you can't go back in time and do things, change things. I mean, if you could, life would be so great, right? In general, if you decisions that we all make in life. But if really, honestly, if we can go back in time, I probably would give the money to Edmonds and not Milano. Milano has not been healthy. But once again, if I can go back in time, I want to give money to Dawson Knox. I want to give money to Tyler Bass. There's quite a bit of people I want to give extensions to. But at the time, I think we all agreed they were good extensions. I wasn't mad with the Matt Milano extension. I wasn't mad with Tyler Bass at the time. Tyler Bass was pretty good, right? He was making his field goal. So even Dawson Knox, I thought they overpaid a little bit, but he was coming off a good season. He had 8 touchdowns. He was, the outlook was looking pretty good for Dawson Knox. Unfortunately, he hasn't lived up to his contract, and Matt Milano can't stay healthy. And Tyler Bass has gone into a funk. I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah, Curtis Samuel's right now looking like a bad signing. So I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, you can't go back in time, but yeah, in hindsight, I think I would have rather signed Edmonds. Oliver's not a bad signing, but I will say, like, our defensive line is undersized. That's a problem. It's a problem against powerhouse teams, or more teams that are aggressive on offense, run-based teams, like the Tennessee Titans were when they had Derrick Henry. We had problems. We had a problem against the Titans. Imagine that was Ryan Tannehill, and they still, bullied us around with their offensive line and Derrick Henry. And yeah, Jarek's right. They didn't do anything in that game that wowed me. Nothing was like, oh my God, I think this offense is just unbelievable. Like, they ran some basic plays. They ran a lot of motions. And I'll say this too. I think Bale Inspector finally got exposed against, a better offensive team, better, coach team. And he really seemed a little lost out there. And our team was just very out of place at times. And we got bullied around. There's not much more to it. On offense, I will say this. I thought Joe Brady was terrible. I thought Joe Brady's first game that I felt like he just, he came in there a little bit, I don't know, scared, but it just seems like he went away with what was kind of working in the first 3 games, which is a lot of pre-snap motion. He kind of went very vanilla, very safe. And I felt like when we got down quick, he really played it safe and he never adjusted. And it cost us, man. It cost us big. And then the one time he tried to pull something out of his bag of tricks, which I don't get, it backfired. Like, I don't understand what was going on there with him. It's a lesson learned. I think he's a smart guy. I think he'll bounce back from this. But I will say this as well. Through the first 3 weeks, I was enjoying the offense. I understood the offense. I get the whole mentality of everybody eats, and I'm with that. I feel like it's going well. I'm not going to freak out over one game. However, the truth of the matter, Khalil Shakir is our go-to guy for now, right? Dalton Kincaid, who we all thought was going to be that guy, not really turning out to be Khalil Shakir. Now, Khalil Shakir is hurt. He's going to miss week 5. That's a high ankle sprain. I'm not sure if it's the same sprain that he had in the offseason, Jarek, but if it is, that's not good, right? That's something that's going to probably linger. He's not going to be 100% probably for the almost remainder of the season, which is not good. I almost feel like maybe they do need to possibly figure out a trade here. I know Adams is out there, Jarek. The guy from Cleveland's out there. I can't believe I forget it. Amari Cooper. So what's your thoughts on the Bills potentially making a trade for one of these receivers? I know you guys are going to be like, oh, it's only one game, but
no, this literally matters.
I feel like we need to have a playmaker. Jarek, what do you think?
No, you're right. We got to get a number 1 receiver on this team. And listen, I'll say this. I'm not going to put the blame on the lack of getting these receivers involved on the receivers. I'm putting this on Joe Brady, because in that Ravens game, he did nothing at all to get these receivers involved. Curtis Samuel lining up in the backfield for the majority of his reps makes no sense. We have not used him in the intermediate. We have not used him in mesh concepts. We haven't even used him down the field. He does not look like that. I mean, Curtis Samuel, this was not how Joe Brady used him in Carolina, not even close. So again, you're giving him a $30 million contract and you're paying him $10 million a year for him to be a running back. I understand that you're trying to give the defense different looks and you're trying to set some things up, but this is also the same Joe Brady that had Josh Allen lined up as a receiver and literally got him killed out for the rest of the year. So I'm not, again, Dawson Knox, that last week, it should have been the Dawson Knox game. We should have involved Kincaid more in the middle.
I agree.
Keon Coleman should have been targeted more, especially on the back. I mean, the back shoulder throw was there all game. Stevens could not Stevens could not guard Coleman. The back shoulder throw was there all game, or you could have just threw it from one-on-one. They were leaving Stevens on an island for almost that entirety of the game. So you should have targeted Keon. We should have had a game plan, around Keon Coleman a little bit more in that going into that game. So I'm not going to put it all on the receivers. However, though, no, we need a number one guy. Cooper would be my best bet because he will cost you little in order for you to trade. Right. Adams, the cap hit is too much. $40 million is too much for me for the cap hit. Cooper would be my guy. Plus he's younger. He's I think he's a year younger than Devontae Adams. But you gotta have a number one guy that you can rely your offensive. That I hate to say it, but that you can rely your game plan around. Because quite frankly, Shakir is. I mean, we tried to go away from having a receiver that we can revolve our game plan around. Well, guess what? What was last week? It looked like the game plan was revolved around Shakir. Because what Shakir does a lot best, which is run after the catch, getting settled, finding and exposing and kind of settling, especially in zone, and just and getting the ball fit to him in space and letting Shakir work. That's what we try to do for him the entire game. Mm-hmm. Like it made no sense. Like it was Tommy. It was to a point where they put Marlon Humphrey, who normally lands on the outside, and they put him on the inside. They made him. He was on Shakir. Right?
No, I agree.
Because he was the biggest threat for the entirety of the game. He was the guy that you had to go towards. So the biggest question all offseason, because I knew that Shakir was going to be the guy. The biggest question was, what happens when you put a number one corner on Shakir? What happens? Because we all know he's going to go against the slot, but what happens if you go against the corner that travels?
All right.
What happens? And Shakir got shut down. I mean, Shakir got shut down. Now,
he did okay. I mean, he had the injury that slowed him down a little bit.
Yeah,
he was still our best receiver that day. You know what I mean? I get where you're going, though. Cooper would be. I'm with you, by the way, Jarek, as far as affording him. But there is rumors out there, and it's been done before, where a team will eat some of the contract or most of the contract, depending on what you're offering. So it can be done where, believe it or not, the Raiders could eat some of that contract where it's not so crazy. If that would be the case, I would definitely take Adams over Cooper. But if they're not willing to eat the contract, Cooper is really, really solid wide receiver as well. So I would be good with either one. Like, I wouldn't complain with either guy. And I saw a question in there about Shakir being a high ankle sprain. I believe it is. They put him in a walking boot right after the game. Usually that indicates high ankle sprain. And the fact that he's missing this week's game kind of leans towards that's what it is. And it's going to take a while for him to get right. I don't know about 6 weeks being out or anything. Some of these players come back earlier. They just play through pain. I assume that's what he'll probably do, but that sucks. Surgery, yeah, but that's a problem, right? Because he's our yak guy. He's our yards after catch guy, and I've had major ankle problems when I was younger. Played basketball, broke my ankle. Like when you play sports, like especially basketball and wide receiver, run it like when you need to cut, it will linger, it will hurt. You're just not the same until it properly heals. So even if he's out there, he's going to probably be at 60-70% of what he can really offer. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards the Bills really pursuing a receiver here in Cooper or Adams. Also, too, man, like Curtis Samuel, too. I saw somebody mention him. I was expecting a lot more. Now, the turf toe thing, that is a very painful injury. I think that's still like bothering him, to be honest with you guys. That's why I think that he's not really involved in the offense, because it doesn't make much sense considering Joe Brady worked with him before, he coached him before, got him involved a lot in Carolina. So I think it's more just the fact that he can't really go 100. That's the only thing I could think of for Curtis Samuel. But right now, he's not living up to the contract. It sucks because we really could need a guy like that in this offense, because he's like that he does everything, multi-gadget kind of guy, like Swiss Army knife, as you say. So, but I'm with you, man. Like, you're paying Dawson Knox all this money too. It's like, dude, like, start getting him involved. He's not that bad of a tight end. Let's get him and do the 12 personnel a little bit more, especially with Shakir being out. I like to see that more ran, but we'll see what happens with that. Let me get to some of these comments here because I feel bad. I'm missing some of them. Robert, how much is McDermott involved in the game plan? McDermott has zero offensive knowledge to me. That is correct. Outside of Von Miller, McDermott doesn't pay. I'm guessing play free agents is what I'm saying. By the way, too, Von is out 4 weeks. McDermott's not really involved in the offense. I don't think. I think he was involved a little bit when Ken Dorsey was running things here. I think he wanted the offense ran a certain way. I feel like Ken Dorsey kind of like did what McDermott wanted to do, and it backfired. That's what I think. I could be wrong, because you saw like a lot less Josh Allen running. Like it seemed like McDermott wanted to do this old school run 12 personnel. Like, it just really limit Josh Allen and what he was doing seasons prior, and it just backfired. And now I think he kind of like he's letting Joe Brady do what he has to do, right? I think he stepped away from the offense. That's just my feeling. Spin off of Tommy guessing it says play free agent when it says play free. I don't know what you mean with that. Let me get to some more of this. Robert's coming in. Tommy, what is all the Bills TV broadcasters and podcasters going to talk about after this Texans game? Because Diggs and Josh have taken up more than 70% of the podcast. So I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit, Robert, but because it is a story, obviously. He's with Houston now. It's the Texans game. Obviously, one of the receivers, I think it was Nico Collins, came out and said, like, they want to get this win for Diggs. And so, yeah, like, I know that you're sick of it. I get it. But the NFL loves this shit, man. They love it. It's a storyline. It's something to talk about. I mean, it is what it is. We won't harp on it too long tonight. I get that you're tired of it. But at the same time, here it is, right? Like, it is kind of a story because, right, like, Diggs and, the whole, while he was here the last 2 years, wanting out, and his brother talking a lot of trash, like, who made who better, blah, blah, blah. Like, so there's going to be a little bit of story. And then, of course, Josh coming out 2 weeks ago or whatever that was, saying the offense is moving better because there's no, because they're spreading the ball around more. And then he said it's not a hit on Diggs and blah, blah, blah. So there's going to be stories to this. I know it sucks. We won't harp on it forever. But we're going to talk somewhat about it, if that's fair. You know what I'm saying? But I also get your point. Spin, this isn't a revenge game for Diggs. If anything, it would be a revenge game for the Bills. I'm kind of with Spin there too. And I don't even know if this is a revenge game, honestly. I don't think this is revenge at all. Like, it just didn't work out at the end. I felt like Diggs kind of wore his welcome out here, and he wanted it that way. And he got his wish at the end of the day, right? Like, he did some special things while he was here. I'm not going to knock him. But he wanted out, and it was clear he wanted out. And he kind of forced Brandon Beane's hand. And I don't blame Brandon Beane for letting him go, because you can't have a guy on the team that doesn't really want to be there. His heart's not into the team. And it was time to move on. And it happens, bro. Look around the league. We're not the only team that's had this problem. I mean, look at Devontae Adams. Look at a lot of players that want out of their contracts or want out of their current situation. So, yeah, it sucks when it happens to us, but it is what it is. It's a business, right? Like these big time players. Yeah. I mean, they kind of, sometimes they pull the cards, right? Like, So it is what it is. We moved on. And I don't think it's a revenge game at all, though. I think it's just another game. It's an AFC game. It's an important game. And obviously, whoever wins or loses, it's going to be a story, right, for a week. I'm just giving you guys another heads up, right? So if the Bills win, be prepared, because for a week straight, and by the way, Bills Mafia, I promise you guys are going to be guilty of it as well, because you're going to be, oh, you see, we can win without Diggs and we beat Diggs. I promise you guys will be saying that. And if we lose, it's the flip side. Texans fans will be like, oh, thanks for giving us Diggs. And you see, Josh Allen can't win without Diggs and blah, blah. So just be prepared. Either way. Am I right on that, Jarek? For about a week straight, you're going to be hearing that. Right?
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
Sports commentators. I mean, you'll hear from everybody. I mean, Chris Broussard, Jay. I mean, you'll hear from everybody, man. You know,
right. No matter what, and Bills Mafia, and Texans fans, and by the way, outside fans. Right?
Chris Collinsworth, because you're in the week right now, so you'll hear from Chris Collinsworth.
Oh yeah, everybody, right? Everybody's going to be chiming in. So I know you guys are tired of it, Robert. You're tired of the talk. I would say gear up, buckle up, because it's going to be at least another week after this game of Diggs Allen talk. After that, I think that talk will fade into the sunset. It'll be over with. So I told you guys from the beginning of the season that this Diggs Allen thing will probably go on for a little while this year and then slowly fade away. I believe it'll fade away a week after this game, and then it won't be really talked about as much. So just a heads up, guys. It is what it is, okay? Scott Blakely, you need to be done to have revenge. If revenge is Diggs' heart, he is manufacturing it. He turned into a dick, not Diggs. I mean, I get it. Tommy is not going to fade. No, I'll never fade, bro. I'm always there until the day I go. You'll hear my voice. Robert, I understand what Diggs did when it is time, quit a job and move on. It's time to go. I've done that. Yeah, Robert, I get it. I think that's safe to say that most Bills Mafia moved on. Like I definitely did. I have no ill will for Stefon Diggs. You know what I mean? But we're a podcast, right? Or a talk show, whatever you want to call it. It's like, we're going to talk about it because it's the game, right? We're playing against the Texans. It's still sort of a story. So, like, I guess I'm guilty of it myself a little bit, but I'm not going to overdo it. It is what it is, man. I agree with you, though. You know, it's a business, and when players want out, they want out. You know, and when, by the way, when teams, it goes the other way too. I'm going to tell you this too. Ownership and GMs could trade a player that's happy with the team. And it's like, so it goes both ways. You know what I mean? It's not always the player. So it is what it is, man. You know, it's a business. Diggs is not here anymore, and we're gonna move on without him, obviously, like we've been doing. So I'm not concerned, guys. Dallas, quite concerned about wide receiver Sunday. Yeah, I am a little bit too, and we're gonna get into that game in a minute. We're gonna dive into this Houston game real quick. So, but anything else on this Ravens game that you want to touch on, Jared, before we move on?
We just gotta. I mean, we gotta clean it for Houston. We gotta clean it up. Defensively, yeah. There's a lot of things defensively that we cannot. I mean, Houston's gonna be a better matchup, way better matchup. But there's still some things that I would like to see from the Texans game that we from the Ravens that we can incorporate for this week. But I'll just say this, man: if Babbage can't get it right for the Texans game, if we're doing stuff that we can't, if we're doing stuff that's unusual, we're being too conservative. We're not going with the initial game, with at least the ideal thing that we should be doing against them. We're trying to play this too high disguise crap, and it's just McDermott may have to step in for Babbage.
And yeah, it's a great. I'm glad he kind of brought that up because he's done that before. He did it with Leslie Frazier, who was a pro, all right, who's been around this NFL forever. And if he did it to Leslie Frazier, guys, he'll definitely do it to Bobby Babbage.
Do it for Babbage.
Just a heads up. The only problem I have with that, Jarek, the only problem is if he pulls it with Babbage, it could, I think, because Babbage is so new at this, it's his first time as DC, it might mess him up a little bit as far as his confidence goes as a DC calling, you know what I mean? Because Leslie Frazier has been around the block. You know, he's been, I didn't, you know, when McDermott took over a couple games in, I think it was, I want to say 2021, a couple games, they asked Frazier, and Frazier's like, nah, it don't bother me. Like, I get it, you know? And I believe him. You know what I mean? Like, you would think, oh, he's probably bullshitting, you know, it bothers him. It probably didn't. It probably really didn't. And he understands, you know, he's been around the NFL for a while. But I don't know how that will go with Babbage. I'll be honest with you guys. So let's just hope. I'll be honest. Like let's be real. Let's hope Babbage could figure this out. Maybe even if McDermott, you know, maybe him and McDermott really, you know, hitting the video room more. Whatever they got to do to get it right. But I'd rather that not happen, because if it does, I almost feel like I don't know if McDermott will hand that. I don't know if McDermott will hand the keys back. I'll be real with you guys. I don't think he does. And it might not. It might even be a quiet thing where we don't even know McDermott has fully taken over as DC. So I'm just throwing that out there. I hope that doesn't happen for Babbage's sake. But at the same time, if Babbage isn't calling a good game or not adjusting, it is what it is. I mean, we have a defensive minded head coach. So, yeah. Let's get to some of this. Where's Mikey? Mikey is out of town for business. So I got Jarek here. Jarek is basically our second co-host, right? He's always filling in for either me or Mikey. So once again, thank you, Jarek, for joining us tonight, man, making my life easier. Mikey, I don't think John's will come back to. So let's talk some of these injuries we got going on this week, and then we'll dive into the game, Jarek. So obviously, the one that popped up and that nobody thought, you know, or saw coming was Ed Oliver. That's a big L. That's a big L for our defense. Who else is missing here? Let me see who else. We have, I had it pulled up. So Ed Oliver's out. Khalil Shakir, we know. Taylor Rapp out with a concussion, which I had a feeling. And Austin Johnson. Now, Bernard was limited all this week. That's a good sign. And Teron Johnson. I think they're going to be game time decisions. Jarek, do you have any word on that? On those two guys?
Teron Johnson, most likely, if there's anyone that's going to play, is most likely going to be Bernard. Bernard's probably going to be the player that's most likely going to play. Teron Johnson, I think he's going to be out. Or if he does play, he'll be on a snap count. But Terrell Bernard, I think I'm like 85% confident he's going to play. It's probably going to be on a snap count. Teron Johnson's probably the one player that I'm like maybe 40% confident he'll play. He might play, but I think he's going to be the one that's potentially going to be out for this game. But Bernard is more of a player that I think is, if he's not going to play this week, he'll play next week for sure. But Bernard, I think he'll play. He'll just be on snap count.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think Bernard winds up playing. I think Teron. I think they're gonna hold Teron one more week, guys. I don't see Teron playing this weekend. I could be wrong, but we definitely need these guys back. I thought last week Spector finally got exposed. Okay, yep. He's young. It's expected, right? A better head coach will do that. If you look at the games we played with Spector so far, and mind you, I like the Jags head coach, but he's more offensive minded. But the Dolphins might the same thing. McDaniel, like, you know, their offense is also different. I think Spector going against the team, against the Ravens got exposed. Harbaugh knew exactly what he was going to do, just like the Chiefs did when we had both linebackers out in the playoff game. They exposed us, and that's normal. You're going to do that. And we would do that. We would do the same thing. I mean, this is football, right? Chess match. So it's good to have Bernard back, because there's no way we could last the whole season with Spector, guys. He did a good job filling in, but he's not a starting caliber linebacker. He's a depth guy, and we need Bernard back. We need Matt Milano back. But Matt Milano's not coming back till the end of the year, if he is even coming back. But I think we can go on with Bernard and Dorian Williams for the rest of the season if Matt Milano doesn't return. Like, Dorian Williams actually played pretty well. So I feel like Spector got exposed last week. So like I said, Bernard coming back is a good thing. Khalil Shakir, that's a bad thing, guys. It's really bad, because he's been Josh Allen's go-to. It's true. Like like everybody thought going into the season, like I said earlier in the podcast, was Kincaid's going to have all these receptions. Kincaid's going to be the man. Trust me, fantasy football players are not happy right now, because a lot of them drafted Kincaid early, and he's just not right now. And I'm not saying that's Kincaid's fault. It's just he's not the focal point of the offense. He's not Josh Allen's go-to guy. He's probably the second behind Khalil Shakir. So, yeah, while Shakir's down, Kincaid needs to step up. And we don't have another receiver right now. Like, I hate to say it. Like, I love Keon Coleman. By the way, I will say this. I think Keon Coleman can be that guy. So let me rewind that. I think Keon Coleman can be that guy. I just don't know if I don't know if Josh Allen and him are on the same page yet, or the trust is there quite yet. Let's just say, like, maybe last week, I'll say this, Jarek. The only positive I saw from last week, there was a few, not a lot, was when Keon Coleman dropped that pass. Perfect pass, Jarek, to Keon Coleman. Should have caught it. Josh Allen could have done one thing, right? He could have stopped throwing them the ball. He could have said, "Oh, no, you lost your chance." Right? Rookie, I can't trust you. We're behind. I'm going to have to go to the guys I trust. He went back to him. Not only go back to him, he went back to him, and I thought Keon Coleman made some phenomenal catches. Really tough catches. He used his body really good to box out the defender. Like, that's everything we wanted in Keon Coleman. That's why we drafted him. And the fact that Josh Allen went back to him, and the fact that Keon Coleman also caught the passes, it didn't let him bother him, right? Didn't get in his head that he dropped the pass. It showed a lot from me, as this rookie. So maybe that's a sign moving forward that Josh Allen goes, okay, you know what? I could trust in this dude. He made a mistake. I went back to him, and he made up for it. And he made some tough catches. What do you think about that, Jared? You think Keon Coleman, that game was a really learning lesson, or like maybe building trust for Allen and Coleman, maybe moving forward? Maybe we see a little bit more of the Allen Coleman connection.
Oh, it better be, because who? I mean, if you can't get it with Coleman, who are you going to throw the football to? Matt Collins has been enough. Matt Collins is Matt Collins. Scantling is a deep threat, but besides being a deep threat, what else can he do for you? And then Khalil Shakir is hurt, and then Curtis Samuel. I mean, I don't think there's trust between Josh Allen and Curtis Samuel, because Curtis Samuel is being underutilized in his offense. Now, whether it's the turf toe, probably it could be is because of the turf toe, but I mean, until then, I don't see the trust. So really, if you're Josh Allen, you got no choice. Whether if you think that you can throw to him or not, your coordinator is not utilizing these tight ends. That's just the truth. So the only receiver that I think last week that showed positive signs of finally being utilized right was Coleman. Because Coleman, for the most part, a lot of his routes were just, it was routes where he can simply just body up the corner, be more physical, and try to and just like play along the boundary. It was practically bully ball. That's just what it was. It was bully, Let me just box you out,
Right.
box you out around the boundary, and then I'm gonna and then go ahead and make some of those catches. So Coleman should have had 4 catches, but the fact of the matter is, Coleman should have had at least 9 targets in that game because like they were leaving him on island along the boundary, and I'm taking that 100% out of 100 because Coleman was roughing him up. Like if you go back, I implore anybody to watch the All 22 if you get the opportunity and just watch Coleman just body that man up. And so, like I said, some of the, yes, everyone's going to put some of the blame on Coleman for not making that catch because he tracked the ball wrong. That's just the fact of the matter is he tracked the ball wrong. His positioning to catch it was just off. The fact of the matter is he didn't really have to do anything at all. Literally just let the ball go into his lap. Yes, Stevenson was going to, his arm was there. But at the same time, though, Coleman, I mean, this is why you drafted him, because of his strength, his ability to snag those passes out the air. And, if the ball falls into your lap, you're not right. You're not the corner. Yes, even though he can put his arm in there and it can disrupt it. Coleman's biggest strength is his strength, right? Does not matter if the corner's going to stick his arm in there. He can snag those balls right off the air, and he can and he's more of a, let's be honest, he's more of a possession receiver on this football team. He's not going to kill you with his route running ability. He's not going to kill you on the initial release. He is going to kill you with just he's going to kill you with his positioning. That's what he's good at. He's good at his positioning when the ball is in the air. And so here we go again with another opportunity against the Texans. And I don't know if Stingley's going to be on him. Probably is going to be on him because Shakir's going to be not playing. Unless you're gonna have Curtis Samuel on that slot. So, but Stingley's he's not a physical corner. He's his own corner, right? Stingley's his own guy. So that's another opportunity where Coleman could win a lot of those. Where Coleman could win a lot of those 50-50 possessions. But I mean, who is he going to throw the ball to now? I mean, you have no one else that is more reliable and trustworthy.
I'm with you. Look, here's the deal with Coleman, man. Roy, I know you weren't sold on him. I was sold on Coleman. I did a video on Coleman. Y'all know that. I wanted the Bills to draft him. I'm happy that they drafted him. Because I see the potential in him. But I also told you guys from the very jump, I told you guys, calm down, relax. It's going to take, I think it's Coleman. It's one of those players. It's going to take a couple years for him to really to develop right in the NFL, and then you're going to be happy with the final results. That's just my opinion. And once again, too, if you really go back in time, Roy, like a lot of these draft picks that we talk about, especially Brandon Beane's draft picks, right? We sat here and we talked about it. Like, we're not happy with this guy, not that guy. We didn't like what we saw. A lot of these guys are working out, man. After their, year 1, year 2. And we talked about this last week. Terrell Bernard, when I saw him his rookie year, when he came in a few times, I was like not impressed. Like, I didn't like the pick to begin with. And then we wound up starting him in 2023. And my God, like, the dude showed up and he played really well and he was really good. And a lot of us were saying, oh man, we were worried or we didn't like the pick. Same with Spencer Brown. Like, we can go down the list. There's a lot of guys on this team that we were like, oh man. And a lot of them worked out. Some of them didn't. I get that. So I would kind of relax on the Keon thing. But what I want to see more of, and I know I get what Joe Brady's trying to do, which is spread the ball, get everybody involved. But unfortunately, like Jarek said, there's guys like Matt Collins who I like the guy, but come on, man. There's a reason. And I told you guys from the get-go, there's a reason why he is 1-year contract guy. So the reason why he is on a different team every fucking year, right? He's a good guy in the locker room. He says the right things. He has a game or here or two where he does something cool, like a good catch, special teams guy, but he's not reliable as far as offensive. You're not going to build your offense around Mac fucking Hollins. Okay. And I just feel like right now, like I like I said, I like the whole concept, but I also feel like, man, dude, Joe Brady, like, it's time to dial up a little bit more for some of these guys. Time to dial it up for Kincaid a little bit more than what you've been doing. It's time to dial it up to Keon Coleman. Like throwing the guy the ball 4 times, 3 times. It's never. What do you expect out of him, Roy? Like, or anybody? Like, if he's not getting the opportunity, I'm just throwing that out there. And he is open a lot of these times. But if the play call's not for him, Josh is not he's gonna go through his reads. So I feel like, look, man, I like Joe Brady's concept. I'm still with it, but I think it's time to start dialing it up a little bit more for your playmakers or the guys that you drafted that you think are going to be playmakers. Kincaid, Coleman, Dawson fucking Knox, who you're paying a lot of money to. Curtis Samuel, you're paying money. You got a good contract, right? Let's start getting them more involved. Let's get them more looks on the offensive side of things. Forget Mac fucking Hollins. Like, I'm good if he doesn't get a reception. So we'll see what happens this week. I hope for a big game from Coleman. Like Jarek said, where else are you going to throw the ball now that Shakir's not in the game? And I'll tell you what, if we wind up losing this game and it's a lackluster performance at receiver, and Josh is kind of just looking for that guy to get open, he just like Bean's going to have to be forced to make a trade for a receiver. There's just no other way around it, guys. So it's worked through 3 weeks. It didn't work last week. If it doesn't work this week again, then Houston, we have a problem, like literally. And that's when I think Bean needs to stop hoarding his draft picks and bend the salary cap as much as he can and get a guy in here, because I still feel like this team can do something this year.
Yeah, that Vikings second round pick, man, is slowly dissipating.
Exactly. But you got to do something that moves the needle. And not only that, like, I just feel like defensively, I think we're going to get right, guys. I do. Because we're going to get guys back. It just sucks now that we're getting guys back. We're losing guys. But I don't think Ed Oliver's injury, I could be wrong, is like going to be long lasting. I don't think Taylor Rapp, another guy, I don't think he's going to be, he'll probably be back next week. So we're getting guys back in the fold on defense, which is a good thing. It's the offensive side now, where if this week we struggle again, especially in the pass department, is where Brandon Bean needs to make that decision. And it is what it is, guys. You're gonna love it or hate it, but I think he needs to make that decision. You can't keep hoarding draft picks, bro. You can't keep hoarding draft picks, and hoping for the best. Like, it's just not going to work, especially for Josh. You're wasting Josh Allen's time here. You really are. And I'm not saying you have to have the number 1 receiver, but right now, guys, I'll be honest with you. If Khalil's down for a couple weeks and he's not 100%, even when he comes back, dude, like, and Curtis Samuel not being 100% or whatever the hell is going on there, I don't even know how you could spread the ball around when guys are limited, like in the health department. Like, it's going to be a tough time. You can't just keep going to Dalton Kincaid. I know you guys like him, but it's not going to work. It's just not. You got to get a guy in here, and I'm not talking about get a bum receiver. Like, I like Hamler. By the way, I don't know if Hamler's going to be active in this game. He may, but he's not the answer. Okay, so we'll see what happens. But even if we win this game, I still think Bean should do his due diligence, call these teams up, and see if he can swing a deal, and see what we could do this year with one of those 2 players, Adams or Cooper. So that's how I feel. Let's get to some of your comments here. By the way, Ravens, man, you're a good dude. I appreciate you coming in here and keeping it cool, man. Bills are not playing for this year. They know they get dead cap to clean up. I don't want to necessarily say that's true, Raven. I get where you're going with that, but we're still a playoff team in my opinion. And then once you get into playoffs, man, sometimes it's about the team who's hot going into the playoffs. You don't necessarily I get where you're going with it, but we're still a good team. I just think we're missing a little bit of pieces to the puzzle that can maybe turn this thing around and make us better. Spin, don't worry. It's one bad game. It's not the end of the world. Look how many bad games Mahomes had with. Yeah, listen, I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm not. Like, I don't know if Jarek is. I'm not. We're 3-1. Like, I tell people all the time, man, the NFL is a fucking marathon in the regular season. Like, you got to really understand this. And that's why I always tell people too, these fucking fans that come in here, these fucking, Jets and Dolphins and Ravens, like, not you, by the way, Ravens for life, but just trolls basically. And, you guys suck and Allen's overrated. See, you guys haven't beaten anyone. Like, it's a long fucking season. And if you want to go down that route, I keep telling people, okay, let's talk at the end of the year, because I've gone down this road before with you guys. Like, have you not learned your lesson in football? Like, dude, it's week fucking 4. Calm down. Now we're in week 5. We're a fucking 3-1 team. We're fine. Worry about your own team. And like, I tell Ravens fans too all the time. It's like, Jarek, it's so funny. Like, they came to talking trash, and I said, you see, you guys haven't beaten anyone. You guys are garbage. And I said, okay, you're 2-2, first of all. And if we're garbage, what have you really accomplished? You've beaten nobody then, right? So how are you even talking trash? It makes no sense to me. When fans do that, Vikings fans did that when Vikings beat us and they went nowhere. The truth of the matter is this, and I said it last week, Jarek. The Ravens could talk shit. Bills Mafia could talk shit. Dolphins fans, Jets fans, Ravens fans, whatever. At the end of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs are running this shit until someone else dethrones them. So it means nothing. It means nothing until somebody can beat them. And we're all chasing one team. So it don't matter. Right? Do you feel good because you beat the Bills in week fucking 4? No. At the end of the day, at the end of this season, whoever wins the Super Bowl, nobody will look back and go, well, wow, at least the Ravens beat the Bills in week 4. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a shit. It's the end result is what people care about. And that's why I try my best to not get caught up in this, we're so fucking great. Week 4, we're 4-0, like 3-1. Like, dude, calm down. It's a long season. Things can go. Injuries happen, momentum. A lot of shit happens in the course of a season. So that's all I got to say about that. I don't know if you agree with me, Jarek, but it's been that way for a long time.
Yeah, this is what I kind of have to say. If the only thing that, and I'm not going to hit the panic button here, but I will say this though: if we lose this game, I am going to be worried. Not in terms of not winning the division or making the playoffs. I'm not worried about that at all. What I will be worried about though is that number 1 seed, because that's what I want.
Yeah.
If the Buffalo Bills want to win the Super Bowl this year, to me, I think the number 1 seed it's a must. Like I think it's a must. I don't want to go on. I don't want to play a wild card game and then we get a setup matchup between the Chiefs or the Bengals in the round. I don't want that to happen. I want the easiest possible matchup that we have going into the playoffs. I don't want to go. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of going against the Chiefs in the second round every year. And then Josh, and then we get into a close. Then we're the only team that plays against the Chiefs as close as anybody in the league. And then Josh gets the criticism. Oh, well, Josh can't. He's a wild card merchant. He can't get past the second round. Why can't we get past the second round? Because we're playing against the Bengals and the Chiefs, two teams that have dominated the conference championship, the conference championship matchups.
Right.
So I want that number 1 seed this year. This game it's almost a must. Like, this is a must win. You got to win this football game because the Texans are one of those teams that are threatening to win that number 1 seed based off of their roster and the personnel that they have. This is a must win for me personally. Now again, if we lose, it's not the end of the world. But if you want to try to win that number 1 seed, and if you want to try to get the respect of the National Football League in terms of beating good teams, because the fact of the matter is we haven't beat a good team yet. We've beaten teams that we were supposed to win against. We have not beaten the teams that are good or great as of yet. And
I would argue with you a little on the Dolphins game, a little. And the only reason I would say that, Jarek, the only reason is because we got to be fair, right? They had Tua to start that game. They had their whole complete lineup. It wasn't like they were all these injuries. They have Tyreek Hill, who was their number 1 voted player in the NFL, right? Let's call it what it is. Jalen Waddle, who is probably a top 10 receiver, at least going into the season. They had Achane, who was a really good running back, right? Fast. Their defense is okay. They were picked by a lot of people to win the division. It was either them or the Jets. Am I wrong? Come on. Let's be real. They were. Most people, not me. So it's funny for me, at least, Jarek, like the Bills beat them and all of a sudden, okay, now the Dolphins they got exposed. They're not a good team. They're a bad team. And yeah, they look bad now because they've lost their starting quarterback. If we lost our starting quarterback, we would be fucked. I'm sorry to tell you guys. Absolutely fucked. Like,
of course, yeah, but the Dolphins, the Dolphins were if Tua was for this game, they were a 9 to 10 win football team.
No, I get it, but going into the season, Jarek, if I'm just saying, on most people, maybe not you, right? I had him as like 10. I had him at about 10 games, right? I had him making the playoffs about 10, 11 games. That's where I saw the Dolphins, about 10, right? Which is not bad, by the way. 10 games. But going into the season, I'm just saying, most people were pretty high on the Dolphins. There's no way that no one could come back and say, no. Like, no, the Dolphins were bad and they were going to win 8 games at bet. Like, I didn't hear that narrative anywhere. Now they're bad, of course. Because one, we knocked the quarterback out and he ain't playing. So, of course, they gotten worse. But I don't think they're as bad as what people project them out to be when we played them. They were in Miami, a healthy team with the number 1 player in the whole NFL, voted by the players, Jalen Watt. Like, they have a good squad. But we beat them, and we were a better team, and I knew we were a better team. But a lot of outside people, right, had the Dolphins winning that game, or had the Dolphins winning the division. So I don't want to go back in time now. We look at this Dolphin team at what are they, 1-3, and go, oh, look how terrible they are. They're terrible. Like, I don't see it that way. And I think it's kind of unfair to say, like, oh, the Buffalo Bills had these cupcake victories. Like, yeah, Jacksonville's not very good, but let's be real. Jacksonville also has some playmakers. They play good at times. That, they almost won last week. Who'd they almost beat last week? Houston, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
that's besides us, that's
throwing that out there. Okay,
they should have beat the Dolphins.
Right, they almost beat the Dolphins.
They should be 3-1 right now, but
right, they almost beat the Dolphins. They almost beat Houston, and we absolutely destroyed them. I'm not saying they're a good team. I'm just saying they hung in there with decent teams, right? Good teams at the time. Like week 1 in Miami, a healthy Dolphin team. They kept up with them. Last week, right? 0-3 going against fucking Houston. They kept up with them. They almost beat them. They should have probably beat them. So I don't know if we had like cupcake matches, right? Arizona, once again, another sneaky team that can catch you off guard. So I don't know if it's kind of fair to be like, oh, Buffalo's played nobody. Like, we've had some interesting matchups, I would say, up until this point. Yes, Baltimore beat us. Okay. Baltimore also lost against Las Vegas. Are you going to now say Las Vegas is better than the Baltimore Ravens? Of course you're not. The Baltimore Ravens are a better team than the Raiders. But the fact is the Raiders beat them that day. It is what it is. So, look, I don't know if this is a must win, but I will say this. If they lose against the Texans, and we lose bad, like we lost against the Ravens, like it's not a highly contested game, like we're not even in it, there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of concern next week for sure. And I'll be one of those people raising my concerns. But I don't know if it's a must win. We've been down this road before, where last year is a perfect example and we bounce back. So, but I will say this, if we lose and we lose bad, Brandon Beane as a GM better get his shit together, better start getting on the phone and getting some help on this team. Because if you can't do it defensively, where the defense is not like just playing dynamic football where the offense can afford to struggle a little bit and we win low scoring games, which I don't see happening, then you got to fix the offense. You got to make this offense score a lot of points. And the only way you do that is bring in a playmaker. And that's one of the two guys that are available, and Adams or Cooper. That's the only way I can see it, guys. But if we win this game, I still think Beans to still explore the idea. But yeah, I'm with you, Jarek. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's like overly concerned if we lose, but I would say fans will start worrying a little bit, and questions will start to be thrown out there. Like, what do we do? Like, I am with you there. And it is important. It's still an AFC game. You want to, we have a tough slate of games ahead of us down the road. So, yeah, let's get it right. Let's get the games we should win out of the way. And this is a game we should win. Even though we're on the road, even though we're a little banged up, I still think the Bills should win this game. But we'll find out what happens. Let's get to some of your questions. I apologize for not answering some of your questions. Cole Michael Adams Scheffler stated Joe Mixon. Yes, and that is true. So Joe Mixon is out of the game. That is big for the Bills, right? We've had trouble against the run. Like, this has been a Buffalo type of thing. We're against the run, we always struggle. So yeah, that's a big loss for them. But we're also missing guys too. I mean, we're missing Ed Oliver on defense. We're missing Taylor Rapp on defense. Like, it is what it is. So, but yeah, that does help us some in this game. So, Jarek, I'm going to get to this, then we're going to get to the game, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Bills Wire had this to say, Jarek, it's 5 things to watch for in Week 5, and we'll go through each one. All right. Taking on Steph. Oh, boy. Robert Wilson's not going to be happy. We're talking about Steph here. Just messing with you, Robert. The Bills and Texans receiver Stefon Diggs exchanged a bunch of nice comments this week. Regardless, with all the hype around this one, Buffalo's defense won't want Diggs to get anything over on them in Week 5. Meanwhile, Diggs will want to beat up on them. How do the Bills cope with Diggs? However, this is a bit of a two-sided coin. The Bills defense can't just focus on their former teammate. If they do, the likes of Texans' other playmakers, such as Nico Collins, could burn them. And I think Tank Dell is back too. Is that correct, Jarek?
I didn't see him on the injury report, so I'm guessing.
Okay, so Nico and Tank. So yeah, you can't put all your chips on one player. I get you. Like you would think that Houston's going to probably want to get Diggs a little bit more involved than usual because it's going against a former team. But I also want to get caught up in that either. Like, caught up in the bait. Am I right on that, Jarek? Like, you know what I mean? Like, really put all your bet. Oh, we need to really only concentrate on Diggs. Like, they got some. I think Nico Collins, takedown are really good receivers. So you can't really just concentrate on one guy.
Nico Collins is the bigger threat.
Absolutely.
He is. I mean, I would say that Diggs is the least likely threat on the team.
I'm with you. Yep.
Still shot at Diggs. Just I like Tank Dell. Like, Tank Dell is more explosive. Nico Collins is a much bigger physical, more receiver. But like, here's the thing about this real quick. And like I said, I know we're going to get to the game, but if I say this real quick,
go ahead.
There's no need. I'm confident in Rasul Douglas and Christian Benford to handle their own on the outside. I don't think that this is what I kind of talked about a little earlier when I said that Ravens game, like how we should have played Baltimore. We should still say I still think we should play a very aggressive game, bring the safeties down, predicate on focusing the. I want to send 5 at CJ Stroud. I don't want to make him feel comfortable by us trying to disguise and play too high and we're sending only 3 or 4. I don't want to do that at all because CJ Stroud, he's already seen it by going against Flores, and he got killed by doing it. But the Vikings also were able to get pressure with base 3 and base with 3 and base 4. They were also able to get pressure, and they were also able to disguise a lot of their CB blitzes. Like Flores, it's a much more complex defensive scheme compared to ours. Ours is complex too, but it's a lot harder, I would say, to go against a Flores sort of defense than I would say more of a Babbage/McDermott sort of defensive style. And Stroud will carve up our defense if we just allow him to sit in the pocket. So
this is a good question from Robert. I guess I'll have you answer this, Jarek. Maybe you have a better answer than I do. I honestly think they'll have both. In my opinion, I think they'll switch up. I think they'll switch up on Rasul and Benford. But Robert's coming in, who will be the defensive back on Diggs. Like I said, I think they'll switch up. But what do you think, Jarek? Do you think they'll just?
It depends on where Diggs is lined up in. If Diggs is lined up in the slot, I hate to say it, but
Cam.
Yep, it's going to be Cam Lewis. Maybe again, you can play some pattern match. It's possible we can play some pattern match with the safety, but it's probably going to. I mean, if they're going to line up Diggs, and now if Diggs lines up on the outside a lot, then most likely is going to be Douglas. Benford, I'm not leaving. There. The way that the Texans are, like I said, Nico Collins, he doesn't travel a lot, so the majority of the game, it's probably going to be Christian Benford on Nico Collins, and quite frankly, I'm no. Nico Collins will be on. I mean, Benford, I'm not leaving him off of him. No, I'm leaving my top corner who's physical, and I'm literally trusting him. Like this is the game where, like Benford's played fantastic all season long, even against the Ravens, fantastic. I am not taking him off of Nico Collins, and so again, Rasul Douglas and Cam Lewis will most likely be the people that's going to be on Diggs.
Yeah, I think Cam's done well up to this point, but last week was terrible.
Yeah,
but I gotta say, tackling was awful for Cam Lewis. Mm-hmm. But I will say this though, I'll be honest with you guys, like nobody was good last week. No, there was very few players that showed up to that game. I mentioned them. I thought Keon showed up because of the bounce back he had. I thought Dalton played pretty well after that drop pass as well that he had early in the first series. But there was not a lot of bright spots last week. So I'm just gonna chalk it up and just say I'm gonna forgive Cam, though we need to run back because missed tackles are they kill you. And Cam Lewis had opportunity a few times in that game to get them off the field with a tackle, and he just totally whiffed. So can't do that. Can't do that this game. I hope he watched a lot of film, understands got to do a better job tackling because this team has actually done a pretty good job tackling up until last week. So I'm not going to like I said, last week it is what it is. We move forward. And that's also why I'm not totally panicking because of the first 3 weeks. I felt like we've done everything pretty well. But just last week, for some reason, we just didn't show up. And that goes for the coaching as well as the players. I think, the last time I saw the Bills play that pathetic, and I'm talking about overall, was against the Bengals in the playoffs at home. That was an overall team loss. And that doesn't happen a lot to Buffalo. So I think they will respond, Jarek. And I think they'll get their act together against Houston. So, yeah, let's move forward to the next thing on this. Anything lingering? All right. Beyond just focusing on your next opponent, the Bills need to start fresh. The Baltimore Ravens cooked Buffalo on both sides of the ball in week 4. The Bills can't let that loss linger around. Team leaders such as quarterback Josh Allen and head coach Sean McDermott need to do their part. And that's pretty much what I was kind of saying, Jarek, right before I even read that. Last week, once again, we don't have that happen to us a lot, guys. We really don't. I think we had a record going into that game where we haven't lost by like more than 8 points, 7 points, something like that, 6 points in a game. Like
3 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, guys, say what you want about this team, but that is impressive, right? Look around the NFL. There's a lot of it happens. Teams get blown out. You know, bad teams beat good teams, and it happens, but it doesn't happen a lot to this Buffalo Bills team. So I am going to just take last week as what it was. Bad showing. I think Josh Allen and Sean McDermott do a much better job. I think Joe Brady does a better job. I think Bobby Babbitt shows up. I'm hoping, right? I think they will. I think there's a lot of lessons that they learned from last week. And I've seen this coaching staff and I've seen these players rebound after bad losses. I really have. Tell me, guys. I mean, honestly, can you think of a season where we got blown out and we just the very next game we got blown out again and we looked pathetic? Like, it doesn't happen much. It really doesn't. We've rebounded very well since Sean McDermott's been here. And I'm not crazy on Sean McDermott. You guys know how I feel about Sean McDermott. I think he's a good coach. He's a good regular season coach. I just don't know if he has what it takes in the playoffs. And I think that's fair because we haven't gotten to the Super Bowl. And he's been here just 8 years. And I don't think that's like a diss on Sean McDermott. I just think whatever the reason is, he's hitting a wall and he can't figure it out. But in the regular season, I got to give him his dues. You know, there's a lot, you got to also step back. You got to look really what he's working with. A lot of injuries, right? A lot, big time players. Yeah, big time players aren't here. Yeah, there's a lot to it, man. Like that's why I don't totally diss the guy, because I think like for what he's accomplished here, it is like it's good. Like I give him a lot of dues to Sean McDermott, what he's done. Like a lot of coaches would fail. I mean, look at McDaniel, lost his quarterback. I mean, I get it, you lose your quarterback, but he is totally lost. I don't even think McDermott would be that lost. Like McDermott he's a pro's pro. He's a coach that is a veteran coach. He's been through a lot, been through the ringer. He understands like how to, build up a team as far as when injuries happen, next man up. He's done that very well. You got to give him his dues for that, because not a lot of teams can do that, or coaches can do that. So I give him his props, and I think he'll bounce back this weekend. That's how I see it. What do you think, Jarek?
Yeah, I mean, listen, McDermott. The thing, McDermott is a phenomenal adjuster, right? A lot of our personnel, for the most part, like we have taken some huge losses over the years, and McDermott has consistently found ways to continue to not just to kind of replicate the production loss. Losing Tre'Davious White and then having Christian Benford kind of come up and take his spot. I mean, Christian Benford is one of the best corners in the league because of that. Russell, we traded for Russell Douglas, but Russell Douglas, I mean, he was a solid number 2 guy who now all of a sudden he's one of the best number 2 guys now with the McDermott defense. You look at a Terrell Bernard who came, who came in, look how he was. I mean, if you look at his track record of players that's been here, I mean, it's insane. Like Lorenzo Alexander, I'll never forget the Lorenzo Alexander, where the dude was an offensive tackle and came into the league. The second year playing as a linebacker, he was top 5 in the league in sacks. It's just insane.
That was with Ryan, though. That was with Rex.
Oh, you did that with Rex?
He did it with Rex. So
okay, but he
Yeah,
played, but then they made the transition to an off-ball linebacker,
yep.
and he was a Pro Bowl caliber off-ball linebacker.
No, is that I'm with you. Like I am with you. Like I think McDermott has proven that he can make players better at their position or transition players the right way, like move players around. Like listen, we said it in the beginning. Terrell Bernard, at least I did not think he would ever be a starting line. I just didn't see it happening. I got to be real with you guys. Like I am eating crow to this day because of how well Terrell Bernard played his rookie year. Well, sorry, his second year.
He had an all pro, like literally.
Yeah,
he had an all pro year.
Yeah. But let's be real though, right, Jarek? Like, who saw that coming? You know what I mean? Like, we got to be real here. Like, nobody. I promise you, Jarek. Very few people saw that coming. So you got to give credit where credit is due, and that's McDermott for understanding he's the right guy. One, also for the coaching staff to get him to that level of play, because I'm sure he wasn't there quite yet his rookie year. Clearly, we saw him a couple times, and he didn't look good. And they got him right. And that's credit to the coaching staff. It's credit to McDermott. That's credit to Bernard. And then also, speaking of Christian Benford, you draft Kyer Elam, who, by the way, I still like her. I think Kyer had his best offseason. He's had, I've seen him a few times this year come in. He's done well. But give credit to McDermott once again for not just going, hey, we drafted Kyer first round.
He'll be the guy next year.
Yeah, we're just going to play him regardless. Like, he played Benford. And I was like, what the hell is he doing? I was upset. Why are you playing this? What? And, bro, he was right. At the end of the day, he made the right decision. And that's what makes him a head coach. I'm not a head coach. Like, so sometimes we also are guilty of that. Like, we get caught up in the moment, caught up in the player, get caught up in the draft selections. We're not at camp, guys. We're not seeing these guys. A lot of the times there is no film out there. We don't see what they're seeing. So I give credit where credit is due. The only thing I will say too, McDermott is guilty, by the way, of the bad thing. There is bad sides of McDermott, like the Klein thing, going after old, aging veterans all the time when he's reaching out. Right, Josh Norman. However, I will say this, guys. I think Brandon Beane finally got it right and said, yo, McDermott, we're going to get some young guys in here. It's enough of the calling up the old guys. And when things go bad, we have depth now, and they're young depth. And you're seeing it this year with the Specters and the Dorian Williams. Like, there's no need to now search for old veterans who are fishing. So I guess you got to credit Beane and McDermott for understanding finally you need to have good young depth to make your squad good, to make your team work. And it's showing, I feel like, this year with guys stepping up that are younger that could play that position. Roy, Tommy doesn't need to guess. Yeah, the guy never stopped. Hey, Roy, I'm a talker, man. I started this channel solo, Roy. I don't know if you were around when I first started this show on this channel in 2020, man. I was so bad, bro. Jarek, how long have I known you for? Just curious, offhand.
This is the third season. So
third season,
2022.
22. Okay. So yeah, man, dude. Like, when I first went live, man, Jarek was so bad. I did a reaction video to my first ever video I did. It was so bad. And it's just so funny to go back in time. But I like you, Jarek, like, you guys got to know too, Jarek, by the way, if you guys don't know, Jarek has his own channel, Jant Sports. I think it's Jant Sports 716, or is it just Jant Sports?
Yeah, Jant Sports.
Okay. Go to his channel, guys. Please subscribe to his channel because he puts out really good content. And like me, for the most part, how I started, Jarek is solo. There is no, I mean, for the most part, I think once in a while you have somebody on, but for the most part, Jarek started solo. He's solo. He don't need no help. And you got to listen. If you don't talk, it ain't no show. So I apologize sometimes, guys, if I get going, but that's how I started. Okay. So forgive me, but I am a talker. And Jared is too. Believe it or not, go to his channel. But that's what we do. We love it. We have the passion for it. And y'all stick around. So I know y'all must love it too. Let's get to the next one. Injury returns. Oh, God, fucking injuries. Over the past week plus, cornerback Teron Johnson, forearm, linebacker Terrell Bernard Peck have returned to practice. Thank God. Some of those have been in a limited capacity, and both could return to the lineup against the Texans. They probably won't. It'll be one, which will be Bernard more than likely. After last week's loss to the Ravens, the Bills would welcome them both back to the lineup. Bills Wire will provide injury updates during the hours leading up to kickoff. So more than likely, Jarek, they won't probably say until kickoff, like as a, you know how that is, competitive advantage, they say. But I have a feeling it's going to be Bernard, and I think Teron will have he'll need another week, maybe even two. But I think one more week before you see him back on the field. What do you think?
Yeah, this is why it sucked that we lost to the Ravens, because if we would have beat the Ravens, I would just say I'll set them down until you feel confident enough that they can go. I don't want to take any risk, any precautions, because I don't want to have Balen Spector play for the entirety of the year, and I don't want Cam Lewis to be the slot corner for the entirety of the year as well. There's going to be injuries, we understand that, but this team does not really have the depth at linebacker or at that nickel slot. Especially when you're going to go against more, going into our schedule, we're going to go against more heavy run teams. And in this league, you got to have a slot corner. Like the slot corner is now, it's one of the most pivotal positions on defense because you have pass and you have run responsibility. And so to have someone that's reliable in the run game like Teron Johnson, Cam Lewis, Cam Lewis, he was in position. So like if Cam Lewis would have wrapped up 90% of the times, he could have had a monster stat line of having like maybe 2 tackle for loss, like 8 like he would have had a monster stat line. But Cam Lewis, this is something that we always know about Cam Lewis. He's not a great tackler. He's somebody that's willing to do it. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there, but very similar to Taylor Rapp is a lot of the cases, like when they're just, Taylor Rapp is he's a hitter, but he's not a great tackler. Cam Lewis can hit. He's not a great tackler. Teron Johnson can tackle. He's not what he's willing to stick his nose in there and do the dirty work, but he's also willing. He's one of your best tackles on the team. And so Teron Johnson, I need that dude. He's not going to be 100%, obviously, but I need that dude as close to 100% as possible because I don't want to have another situation where we're going into the postseason. And there it is again, where our not just losing players, because everyone's going to lose players in the playoffs, but losing your key guys. I don't want to have another one of those situations.
Right, where we get exposed. Yep. And good, that's when you get in the playoffs, man, you're facing the best of the best for the most part. You're facing the best coaching staff, usually, they're the better coaching staff, the better defensive coordinators, offensive coordinator. They're gonna know your weaknesses, they're gonna exploit them, and you better have your team intact or have an answer. Roy, didn't know you existed in 2020. Thanks. I did. But it's nothing to go back in time and watch. It wasn't very good. My channel wasn't the best in 2020. However, you got to start from somewhere, right? You got to start from somewhere. And started in 2020 and it was a rough start, got off to a rough start, but cleaned it up in 2021 and 2022. And hey, I started getting subscribers like you, Roy, and like Jason and Scott and Beth, who are loyal to this channel. And I've come a long way. Mikey started in 2022, I think. I met Mikey on hashtag, and Mikey was he had a rough couple shows as well to start. So it is what it is, man. But we've come a long way This channel has grown. And like I said, man, I thank you guys for helping me in this journey, man. And I'm going to continue to get better and continue to talk talk my head off. I need to go back and watch your old stuff. Oh, it's so bad, Roy. It's so bad. All right, let's get to the next stuff. Josh versus CJ. Texas quarterback CJ Stroud has quickly jumped up the ranks of the NFL quarterback ladder. As always is the case, when Allen goes up against another top-tier quarterback, the two are going head-to-head in their own right. What you thought about CJ Stroud, Jarek?
He's good.
I mean,
it's good. Yeah, he has an elite arm, man. He has an elite arm. He's phenomenal in terms of diagnosing and exploiting certain coverages. He's very, very intelligent. CJ Stroud, it's 1-2, the ball's out. I mean, he's quick.
Yeah.
So if you cannot, you have a very similar to Brady, man. Like you have a limited Brady, Joe Burrow. You have a limited amount of time before that ball is out. And so this is why I want to send 5. If possible, send 6. Like if those receivers beat you, then so be it. It is what it is. But I don't want him to stand in that pocket because I know the more time you give him, eventually he's not going to go through the first and second read, then it's going to throw the ball away. He'll go through progression 1 through progression 4, maybe even progression 5 if it's going to be the check down, depending on the formation that they're in. But he's a very smart, intelligent. This is the first elite quarterback. Listen, Lamar Jackson's an elite quarterback. He's an elite quarterback.
Yeah, he's
Stroud
up there.
is a better passer. And it doesn't
Absolutely.
mean that it's not just about throwing ability. It's about progression. It's about reading the full field. It's not being a half read guy like Lamar is. Lamar's a half read quarterback. Stroud is a full read quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a better processor than Lamar Jackson. I think that he's more accurate in terms of the throws he can make. In terms of the throws that he can make, whether if it's intermediate to beyond 15, 20-yard marks, that it's phenomenal ball placement. That's when we talk about accuracy. We're not talking about the completion percentage because people will get it twisted. There's a difference between the stat sheet and what you actually see on film with the type of throws that you can make. Stroud can make any throw that you can even imagine. Even though he doesn't have like a Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford arm, CJ Stroud has a strong arm. Stroud is a better passer than Lamar Jackson, and this is the first elite passer that we'll be going against. And you can't play conservative. You cannot play conservative against this team. Yeah. You're gonna have to be aggressive because right now Von Miller suspended. Rousseau is there, but let's be honest. Can we really count on Rousseau on an every game basis to be disruptive? Especially because he's going against Larry Tunsil. Tunsil is banged up as well. He's not going to be 100% for this game because he's dealing with an ankle injury. An ankle injury. But still, can I rely on Rousseau to be that guy? I'm not too sure. Can I rely on AJ Vanessa to be the guy? I'm not too sure. Ed Oliver is out, so you're going to have to rely on Dwayne Carter and Daquan Jones. He's not the same from last year. And some fans will argue with me about it. Daquan Jones, from what he was in the beginning of the season to what
he is not.
He's not.
You're right. No, you're right. I didn't even think about it.
Nope.
I didn't even talk about that, but you're right. Daquan Jones, and I like him. I do. I still think he's a solid piece of this defense, but I just don't. He's not what he was.
There's a reason why we added. Like I know Jackson's hurt, but there's a reason why Zion Loud was brought up to the practice squad.
Yeah, he's a big. By the way, he's a big boy.
Guy.
He's a big guy. I wouldn't get oversold on him right now. I got to see him first in game action, but he's a big boy, man. He can clog up that line pretty good, and we haven't really had a guy like that in a while. And Daquan, I don't know what it is, man. Maybe since the injury, also a little bit older. Maybe that's playing effect to it. I don't know. I'm not saying he's playing terrible. He's just not what he was before the injury.
I don't think he's fully recovered from the bicep injury.
It may not be because I just don't see his impact as big as it once was.
He doesn't use the swim move. Like I've known last year that was his top move. He doesn't. I haven't seen him use the swim move once.
And it could be like you said, it could still be lingering a little bit. Very possible. And Yeah, I think you're right about Stroud, man. I said it last year. Like, there's certain players, man, quarterbacks at least. You could see the potential. Like Allen's rookie year, yeah, he didn't have the greatest rookie year, but you saw the potential was there. Like, you knew that he could be something special. And CJ Stroud, you know, he had a pretty good rookie year, and he got in the playoffs and everything. Like, I saw a lot of traits with him and Allen. Like, he makes something out of nothing, you know, when things break down. And that's Josh Allen. Like, that's what Josh Allen, you know, does a lot. And I feel like CJ Stroud does that as well. Like, he can really make something out of nothing. And that's what makes him dynamic. And he's a good passer with a good arm, accurate. He's smart. And I told Mikey, man, I'm telling him, man, this kid's going to be something special. Oh yeah, I got to see it year 2. I'm like, I think you will. I think you will. I think the kid's going to be up there in the top 5 before you know it. If not, he may already start be considering. People may be already talking that way now about him. I don't know, but I don't think he's top 5 just yet. But I think he's heading there as far as in the league goes. But yeah, this is a good matchup, definitely. All right, let's get to the next one. Life without Von. The Bills' defense will be without Von Miller. He was suspended 4 games by the NFL. While Miller was playing a limited role in a pass rushing capacity, the defensive line and pass rushers around him now need to step up. Miller was playing well, having recorded 3 sacks in 4 games. Most will look toward the likes of Gregory Rousseau and Ed Oliver. So obviously Ed Oliver's out, so they're wrong. And then they're done with that article. So I wonder if Solomon gets some playing time in this game. I would like to see more Solomon. We saw him in week 3, and he had the strip sack. I would like to see him a little bit more used in this game, especially on third and down, third and longs, passing downs, just to see what he can bring, because he can bend real quick. He could bend like Von, maybe not quite as great as Von, but he could bend for sure. He has the speed around the edge, and that's what he does. He is a pass rusher. I mean, he that's why we drafted him. That's what he did in college. He led the league in sacks in college, and sacks. They were tied. And I think they should use him a little bit more in this game. AJ Epinesa has been a little disappointing. I got to say, this year they paid him. I'm not saying he's getting paid all his big bucks, but he's a starting edge. Starts over Von. Von is now on depth, right? Von comes in on third downs, stuff like that. But I just feel like last year AJ Epinesa brung a little bit more than he's doing this year. I just don't
play like he wanted to get paid.
Yeah, I don't see it this year from him. I don't see that explosiveness that he brung last year. He's not batting balls down like he was last year. He's not getting to the quarterback really. He's definitely underperforming, and that's what I mean about like these guys that we're paying who are underperforming. And it sucks, man, because I was cool with it. Like, I was okay with bringing back Epinesa. Like, I didn't think they overpaid him or anything, but they paid him. He still got paid. And I feel like he's underperforming. I feel like Matt Milano's underperforming because he's not on the field. Dawson Knox. Like, I already ran down this list of guys that are just underperforming. And, bro, like, there's going to come a time where we need these guys to start earning their checks. I mean, that's why we paid him. That's why we brought him back. And we need Epinesa to play better, especially if he's a starting edge. And I don't see it through 4 weeks. Sorry. I don't see him as a starting caliber edge in the NFL. I don't. I think his role was way better as a depth guy. But they don't want to have Von as the starting edge. So I get it. But at the same time, he's not producing. So AJ Epinesa has to look at himself in the mirror and it's time to step up, bro, and do your part on this defense. Because if you can't get to the quarterback and you can't put pressure, it's going to be a long day, bro. It's going to be a long. I don't give a fuck who you got back there at quarterback. If you put no pressure on a quarterback in the NFL, they will carve you up, bro. They will carve you up because eventually receivers get open. And that's one thing the Bills continue to have a problem with is getting to the quarterback. Now, mind you, last year, way better, obviously. You guys know, I think we were, top 5 in sacks. But still, I still think we're still missing that dynamic edge rusher. And I like Gregory Rousseau. But once again, started hot. And he's one of those guys is like, he has his moments, but he's not consistent with them. And he's trying to earn a contract at the same time. So it's like 3 sacks week 1 and no sacks after. It's like 1 sack. Like,
we're gonna have to rebuild that. We're gonna have to retool that. Retool. We got to rebuild the defensive line again.
I think so too. I think you got like I think McDermott's flawed. I think his problem, or at least what I feel like McDermott wanted to go lighter and faster on defense. And the problem is injuries start to kick in on these lighter guys that aren't really made for that position or undersized in that position. That's why you see a lot of injuries on the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion. And when we play against more physical, bigger teams, it shows. The tackling, the defensive line getting bullied. Like, we haven't had a big defensive line front in a long fucking time. Linebackers are small as well. I like Bernard, and Bernard I'm cool with, but even Matt Milano is considered an undersized linebacker. Sure. Yeah, and look, he's hurt constantly. Our biggest linebacker we had here is not even on the team anymore. Tremaine Edmonds, he's gone. I just feel like we're just undersized on the defensive line. And Ed Oliver, I like him. I do. He's not going anywhere, but he's undersized. Let's be real. Undersized lineman. And our biggest lineman, which is Daquan Jones, is not playing like that anymore because of the injury. Like Jarek said, he's just not what he once was. Time to probably now. I don't know if what do you think? How do you feel about Carter?
I think Carter. I think he's more of he's a disruptor. I think he's more of I think he's going to be a really good run defender in this league for a long time. I see him being Ed Oliver? Do I see him being like a 7-8 sack defensive tackle? It could be. He had a lot of comparisons coming out to Jaron Reed, Jaron Reed, which I could see. I could see some Jaron Reed in him. But I think he's disruptive. I think he's a very disruptive guy that can play that has a future of playing really well in the run. But again, it's kind of like it's gonna have to take maybe a few years in order for him to develop to becoming an all-around really good defensive tackle in this league. I think that for the most part, you want to bring. I think he's more of a situational defensive tackle. But again, the problem is that even though I think Carter's a little bit bigger than Oliver, he's your prototypical athletic 3-tech that fits very well in the McDermott defense. But again, he's not going to break the ground. He's not going to be bad, but he's not going to be great either for at least about a few years. And that's the problem.
Right. Is
right now we're in a window where Josh Allen is 28 years old. And we don't know how much long he has. Look at it. He's banged up. We don't know how long we're going to see of this. And so is another year, man, where again, we're going to have to have this conversation in the offseason where this defensive line is going to have to get retooled. I mean, at this point, it's kind of like Matt Milano was hurt. They may have to move on.
I think Milano's going to fall into the Trey White category, and they're going to have to move. He has 1 year. I think 1 year. I think I could be wrong. Yeah, and these are like now they're beginning. Like they started out as like, injuries where you'd be out a week or two, and now they're season-ending injuries back to back, like pretty much season-ending injuries. It's a problem. It's a problem, and he's a good guy. He's when healthy. Yeah, when healthy, dude, that dude it brings it. Love Matt Milano, what he brings, but problem is, bro, he's not. You got to be on the field. What do you think about Solomon, by the way?
I think Solomon has upside. I think he does have some upside. If I'll say this, if he was I think that if you give him 2 years to be in a 3-4 defense, I think he'll be a really, really good. I think he'll be a really, really good 5 in this league. In the McDermott defense, it'll be interesting, but I think as a rotational pass rusher, I see it. I think I see a lot of really good potential within his game. So I think I'm one of those guys that listen. He's not the most athletic guy in the world, but he just knows how to get after the quarterback.
Right.
16 sacks and 16 sacks is 16 sacks at the end of the day.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, I think he needs a little bit of work. Mm-hmm. He definitely needs, his run defense needs to improve. Obviously,
yeah, he's not.
That's all. Guy. No, he's not. He's not a complete, but. I think if he can, I think it's going to take a little time, but I think I could see him getting better at run defense for sure. I think the Bills are willing to be patient with him as well, which is good, So, yeah. But I do want to see more of him now that Von's out. I want to see a little bit more with Solomon on 3rd and longs, passing downs, to see what we got in him as a pass rusher. So we'll see if they utilize him while Von is out, and see what he brings to the table, because you never know. I mean, Solomon could bring a little bit of juice that we're missing as far as getting to the quarterback. And I always say too, when injuries and stuff like this happen, sometimes, man, a guy could step up that we weren't prepared for, that maybe we didn't see coming, and really shows his true potential, and boom, there you go. Now you got a guy that you have a little bit more faith in, the coaching staff has more faith in, and now he'll get utilized a little bit more moving forward. So it's a big moment for these guys. They're opportunities that don't come often, and Solomon might get that opportunity the next 4 weeks while Von is suspended. By the way, I had a feeling that was coming by the NFL. They take time on those. They do their own investigation. It is what it is. Even though the case was dropped, the charge was dropped, doesn't matter. In the NFL, They have their own process. I mentioned it to start the season. I think actually when you were on here with Mikey, filling in for me one night, and I forgot who got suspended, but I put in the chat, I'm very surprised Von Miller hasn't gotten suspended. And I think you were on here when I said it. And Mikey was like, oh, it's because his case was dropped, but that's not how it always works. Yeah, and I think
they don't play when it comes anything involving domestic abuse. They don't play.
No. That ever since the Rashee Rice thing, they don't fuck around with that. Not Rashee Rice. I'm sorry. Ray Rice, right? Was Ray Rice?
Yeah.
The running back.
Ray Rice.
But speaking of Rashee Rice, I think he's also going to get suspended. But they just take time on those. So when he probably will get suspended next year. I don't see him. I think he's out for the year anyways. But
yeah, because
But I think they wind up suspending him next year. So just a heads up. So Von, I had a weird feeling that was coming, and it did. It is what it is. So the Bills need to figure that out, and that's probably Solomon will be doing what he was doing as far as going in on third downs, passing situations. And maybe, like I said, maybe you got a bright side of this is Solomon is a guy that can cause some havoc. Jarek, you never know, right?
There is a positive. Yeah, there is a positive. Yeah, that's the positive is that what if Solomon develops,
right?
And now all of a sudden now you can add him into the rotation.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then Von Miller doesn't have to do anything for 4 weeks. You're getting more security that Von Miller is going to be on this team and that he's going to be healthy. And so, that's kind of another good thing. Is that, listen, I wasn't expecting Von Miller to get me a bunch 20 sacks. I'm not. He's 35.
Yeah.
But I quite frankly, I can care less how many sacks he has. How many sacks do you have in the postseason? That's what I care about. What's
big moments. Yep.
What's the statement that you can make in the postseason? That's all I care about. And so, that's just.
And he'll be back.
Yeah.
And he'll be back. He'll be back by then. So, Jason coming in. Tommy, remember AJ didn't show out until Miller was out. Yeah, it's a great point. That's what I mean, Jason. Like, this is a big moment for like guys like Solomon, right? Like to have the opportunity now to showcase, to earn the trust and the coaching, to get playing time when Von gets back, to potentially get more playing time depending on what you do in the next 4 weeks. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, if Solomon shows up, watch out. Like he's gonna take someone's playing time. Someone's snaps are gonna be limited. And that could be AJ Epinesa as well. Like, I'm just throwing that out there. So let's see what he does. I'm not going to oversell Solomon, but I'm just saying the time that we did give him an opportunity in week 3, his very first time on defense, he had a strip sack. Just throwing that out there. Like, so he did show up, even though it was a bad team. I get it. But he showed up. So let's see what he does, because I think he does get time. Robert, thank you, Tommy, Jarek, and all got something I have to do. Great product. Hey, Robert, appreciate you showing up as usual, man, to the podcast. So let's get to this game, because I know people are like, let's get to it. And we've been on here an hour and 50 minutes. Man, time flew by, Jarek. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you, everybody, for having a good time with us tonight. And just I know this was we went on a little bit longer than usual. When me and Mikey are here, we go on usually hour and a half. Sometimes we go on this long, but I haven't talked to Jarek in a couple weeks now, and I know we had to touch base with what happened last week, so that's why the podcast went a little longer than usual. But I appreciate you all rocking with us. We always try to have fun and include everybody in the chat as well. So that's why too sometimes the podcast goes longer, because we get to your guys' comments, and sometimes we get down rabbit holes, and it is what it is. But if you guys are having a good time, I have a good time, and that's why I stay on here as long as I do. So, or else, trust me, I'm going to tell you right now, too, there's a lot of podcast guys that they are on for strictly 1 hour, and they don't even go past that, and they don't give a fuck. Or they don't answer chats, and they don't care what you guys have to say unless you're super chatting them. And I do the opposite. I try to answer everybody's chat, and I try to have a good time on this podcast. So, yes, Roy, I'm going to blame the chat for this. It's all your guys' fault for letting this go on for an hour and 50 minutes. Anyways, let's get to the game, Jarek. What's your keys to victory in this game? And then give me your score prediction. And guys in the chat, go ahead and give me your score prediction while Jarek is answering.
Let's not be dumb with our coaching decisions. Let's not come out and be conservative on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, let's start to actually utilize our personnel. And that's really the only key things that I think you can do. I think defensively, again, you got to be aggressive. You got to send 5. You got to send, you got to send some extra to a pressure on CJ Stroud. He will carve us up if we leave him standing alone in that pocket. I understand that you want to play with this is the Buffalo identity, man. Play some too high, disguise a lot of your coverage, play some pattern matches. Like, we understand the identity of what Buffalo's defense was. But again, I mean, yes, Joe Mixon, I think he's a threatening player, but Dameon Pierce is a physical running back, and Buffalo's run game has been susceptible. It's been susceptible. Now the Texans' interior offensive line is trash. It's not good at all. Kenyon Green, and I forgot the other guy's name, but Kenyon Green is god awful, and and Laramie Tunsil is hurt. He has an ankle injury, which is going to hinder him a lot because they like to get him out in space. But I cannot leave CJ Stroud with too much time in the pocket. We got to start sending some pressure. Again, I understand that we're trying to compensate
because of how bad how bad the linebackers are in coverage. But at the same time, though, dude, you're going to get beat. I mean, you're going against Dalton Schultz, is one of the best tight ends in the league. You got Tank Bell, you got Diggs, you got Collins. You're going to get beat, and if they beat you, then so be it. But this whole thing but if we play conservative and if we get carved up anyway, then we're going to be questioning, why didn't we go aggressive in the first half like we did against Baltimore? Because Baltimore, that shouldn't even be a question mark about what the game plan should have been against the Baltimore Ravens. You have to be aggressive against that team because you don't have a good run defense. You just don't. You don't have a good run defense. Your linebackers again are, Dorian Williams is a solid run defender that honestly you got to use his athleticism. I mean, he's a blitzer. You got to use him on the blitz. He's one of the more athletic linebackers for a reason. You didn't just bring him here to play coverage and to make up, a 10, to get him deep, 10, 15 yards to play the cloud and play the hook. No, you got him there to play the run, to play the run, and to be and you can dial him up in certain sub linebacking packages and in certain blitzing packages. That's why you brought him in there. So, we got to be aggressive against this Texans team because otherwise, again, we're going to be looking back in the second half, questioning ourselves when we got to make adjustments and we have no choice but to play some aggressive defense. Why didn't we do this in the first half? And then it's catch up. Right. Offensively, you got to utilize the personnel, man. You find a way to get Dawson Knox and Kincaid more involved in the game. Find a way to get Curtis Samuel because he's got to play that Shakir role. Right. Because you can't have him just lined up in the backfield and then he's playing that. No, I mean, we got rid of Isaiah McKenzie for a reason, right? I understand that you did that. I think he's an upgrade for Isaiah McKenzie, but so far he has not shown the ability to replace Isaiah McKenzie. So we got to figure out a way to get Knox and Kincaid more involved in the game. I do think that this is going to be a James Cook game. This might be a James Cook game where our offensive line should beat them because. Again, we are a team that is we do run a lot of east to west, but for this season more particularly, we've been more of a north-south team. So Houston's got two really good edge defender guys that can play the run extremely well, especially off the edge, and are extremely athletic in terms of doing that. You can, but in terms of running north to south, you can beat these linebackers. Especially because Christian Harris is out for the season. So now you got their backup in with Henry To'oTo'o, who anyone who's been following my channel, man, knows I hate Henry T for a reason. It's not because I think he's a great player. I think he's a crap player. And so there are holes that you can expose within this defense that Joe Brady has got to find a way to take advantage of. But this whole thing of using the screen game, no, you take that out the playbook in general. Yeah. Take that out the playbook is lean on James Cook, start running more crossers, start running more mesh concepts, and like let's just get back to being an efficient offense because this crap. Yeah. I don't think this offensive line is going to get dominated like they did last week. I just don't. No. Again, I actually like them. Will Anderson and Jonathan Grenard are two fantastic players. I'm sorry, Daniil Hunter are two fantastic players. But for the most part, guys, I don't see this offensive line getting dominated from the interior all the way outside. I just don't see it happening. This is a game where you can lean on James Cook. This is a game where Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox should both be involved within the offense. And defensively, like I said, let's just be aggressive. And if we lose by just following that specific game plan, then so be it. You lose. Yeah, the better team will win. It is what it is. But this last week was just it was. I mean, I'm not even joking about this. You can legit put a 2-year-old to coach both the offenses and the defense side of the ball, and they would have came out with a better initial plan. That was terrible what happened last week. That was on coaching. That was terrible.
Bad. I agree. What's your score prediction if you had to give us one here?
I'm going to go with Buffalo 27-24 to win the game. The Texans have not – I mean, they're 3-1, but they're not immortal. They have been susceptible a lot. So I think the Bills is going to pull this game off. But, like I said before, if we lose the game, if we lose the game and we're following the initial game plan, it is what it is. You just lost to the better team, but we'll see.
Okay. I'm with you for the most part on everything you said. Listen, man, I think it's time to throw a little bit more exotic looking blitzes as well. You have Dorian Williams who can get to the quarterback, who's super athletic linebacker. Start using him a little bit more on these blitz packages. I think that the 4 need to step up. Ed Oliver's being out. Whoever's who's filling in for Ed? Is it Carter?
Yep,
yeah.
Carter.
Carter's going to get the opportunity, guys, to step up. I think he needs to step up. I think the 4 need to get home. I think Gregory Rousseau needs to step up his play as well. You got to get pressure on. You got to get pressure on CJ Stroud and make his timing. Make him make some bad decisions, at least in the pocket. Make him make faster decisions than he wants to. But the pressure is everything. On offense, listen, Joe Brady, you got to get Kincaid involved. You got to get Keon Coleman involved. I know you want to spread the ball around. I'm cool with that. But let's be real. Right now, what you got is what you got. There's no Khalil Shakir. I think it's time that Keon Coleman starts getting more than 2 or 3 receptions a game or targets a game. I would like to see him more involved in the offense. Kincaid, Dawson Knox. Let's get some 12 personnel. Let's get some pre-snap motion. I don't know why you went away from it last week. It works. James Cook also needs to be involved in this game. By the way, Jarek, we can't run a screen and we can't defend a screen for the life of us. So I'm going to just say that doesn't work for us. So we're not going to run it because I would like to see it, but we apparently have no idea how it's ran. Even though it's been around the NFL for years, we apparently have no idea how to run a running back screen. I don't get it, but we've never been good at it since McDermott's been here. It's odd. We can't defend him either, which is odd. But anyways, get James Cook involved. James Cook was bad last week too. I know our offensive line wasn't the best run blocking. I understand the Ravens have a really good run defense, but that's the reason why I say he's not here long term, guys. He's going to be here until his rookie deal is over.
James Cook is good, but like we're seeing right now in college, I mean,
that's why he was limited. Listen,
better.
There's a reason why he was limited in college, like why they didn't use him a lot in college. There's a reason. He's not. I feel like he's limited. He's a good running back, but he's not an overall like dynamic running back. I think he it's hard to explain, man. I just feel like his vision is okay. Like I think he's good, but he's not great.
He's not good yards after contact.
Yeah, contact balance is not good. It's not good.
Yeah,
running between the tackles. If there's not a big hole there, he's doomed. You know what I mean? Like he relies strictly on speed. And that's fine, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah, like he's extremely patient. I think his patience and his ability to read the hole. I think his ability to read the hole got better.
His vision got. Yeah, I'm with you there because that was one of my things I said going into the season. I thought his contact balance and vision was not the greatest, but I feel like so far his vision has improved.
Yes,
right. His patience and vision.
You can't coach contact balance. You can't.
You can't, and you
either have it or you don't.
Yeah, and with James Cook, he's light below the waist. Like he doesn't, his legs aren't big. Like he's not built like that. Like he's just not a physical type of back. Tweener. Exactly. So I like him, but once again, guys, he is very limited. He's also terrible at pass protection. He's gotten a tad better, I'll say, this year. I have seen him pick up a blitz or two, but he's just not built that way. He gets bullied pretty bad. But once again, I don't hate him. I think he's going to be here until his rookie's deal's done. And I think they're going to move on like they moved on with Singletary. And they're going to have a new guy. My only fall for Buffalo and these running backs since McDermott's been here and Bean is they never for the life of me, I don't understand why they haven't drafted a bigger back or brung in like I don't
It's
get it.
like it's barely 200-pound players.
Yeah, I don't, bro. And not only that, we just now started building the offensive line, like where they can run, be a better run blocking. But it's like, dude, you knew that we were not a very good offensive line for many years with, and really a small offensive line, and you getting small backs. Like it was odd. Like it never. We haven't had a big back here, like a younger since Carlos Williams. Like we haven't had a guy that was like, over 6 foot, 200 or something pound. Like we've had small running backs. Like, and I'm not saying even he has to be the number one, but goddamn, dude, like you should always be a change of pace running back. That's not the same as the fucking starting running back. and I like Ray Davis. I do, but he's still considered small.
Small. He's a small back.
Yeah, he's small. So it's like, dude, it's time to that's why I wanted Derrick Henry so bad in the offseason to come to Buffalo, because he would have, and everybody was like, oh, he doesn't fit the offense, bro. Stop. I keep telling you guys, Derrick Henry would fit any offense.
He actually does fit the offense. That's the crazy part.
right.
He fits the Bill Brady offense more than James Cook does.
Dude, I would have, all the money we spent, guys, on all these players, we could have went and spent money on Derrick Henry. We would have been just fine. Stop. It's just that we didn't want to go that direction. And little things like that, guys, is what puts a pause on this team when we get into playoffs. Not having that one guy that can move the pocket, that could be dynamic, that can get those 2 tough yards that we need, instead of relying on Josh fucking Allen every goddamn time. We don't have that, and we continue to not have that. Anyways, I'm going to get to this game. So, we need to do more pre-snap motion, run the ball a little bit more. That'll open up the play action, get Keon Coleman involved more. Even Curtis Samuel, my God, try to get him more involved. You brung him here. You paid him here for a reason. We need to get these guys more involved. I don't really want to see Matt Collins out there. He hasn't done anything. Let's get these playmakers involved, guys that can actually produce. If you want to throw Matt Collins out there for a play or two, fine, but let's not have him the focal point of the offense.
It's almost becoming a detriment, because whenever they see Matt Collins, they're saying, "Oh, that's run." They're playing run now.
Right. Oh, another guy, Jarek. I forgot to mention MVS. Total waste of money.
Yeah.
Total waste of money. Guys, you're not seeing this. I would have honestly, guys, I would have much rather have Michael fucking Thomas, who probably would have cost cheaper maybe than fucking MVS. Who's done nothing? Zilch, nothing. It's a waste of a contract, another year that we're getting guys contracts that are not producing, and he's just going to get paid for nothing. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. So I don't get some of these free agent signings that we're doing. I like Curtis Samuel, by the way. I'm not going to bash Bean for that. It's unfortunate he's going through this turf toe thing. And I believe that's why he's not involved so much, because he's not 100%. But once again, though, it goes back to just bad luck, a little bit of bad luck too, with some of these contracts that, or these guys are bringing in that aren't producing or getting hurt, or guys that we're extending that aren't, can't be on the field because of injury. So it's just bad luck, and I don't know, bad timing, whatever it is. But anyways, I have the Bills winning this game. I'm going to go 31-23. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think it's close. And I think the Bills pull ahead in the fourth quarter somewhere, in that fourth quarter, and take the lead and hold the lead. I think we're the veteran team. I think we have the veteran head coach, the veteran quarterback over CJ Stroud. I think that's a reason why we probably win this game. That might show up more against Houston, who's a younger team, younger head coach. So I'll give the advantage to Buffalo because of that. And also, I think they'll rebound off that embarrassing loss as well. So there are some things favoring Buffalo in this game. He coming off a bad loss. I think they don't want that to, that bad taste in their mouth, right? They want to respond well. And I think, like I said, I think the coaching, I think we have an advantage in coaching because of the veteran and McDermott over their coach, which I like their coach. I just think McDermott has the edge in that department. And I also think we have some solid, I think I would take Josh Allen right now over Stroud because, where they're at in their career right now. And I like Stroud. I just think Josh Allen right now is a little bit above him, obviously. I think they're more talented as far as the offense goes. I think they got really good receivers, young, talented receivers. But we have some, like, once again, our corners. Rasul Douglas is a veteran. He's been doing a really good job this year. He had a bad game last week, but I think he will rebound. Benford's had a good year, has a good year last week. Once again, not his best outing. He'll respond. I would, and then also getting Bernard back, guys. That's a positive for us. Cole Bishop's an interesting one to watch for, guys, to see how he plays. I thought he did well last week when he came in for Rap. So it'll be interesting to see him out there as well. So we'll see what happens with those. So I think it'll be it's going to be Bishop and DeMar, correct, Jared?
Yep.
Okay. I'll be honest with you guys. I like DeMar. I'm going to give him a pass for last week because I'm giving everyone a pass because nobody really played well. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little concerned with the safety position as I was going into the season. I still don't know if DeMar is a starting safety in the NFL. At some point, I almost think what you're going to see, and I could be wrong, but you're going to see Edwards in there in time starting. And it wouldn't shock me if Bishop also is in there over Rap in time. I could be wrong, but I'm just throwing that out there. I think they like Edwards. I think they like his veteran leadership, a guy that's won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. I think he's a little bit more sound than DeMar. I think he's a better ball hawk than DeMar Hamlin as well. So we'll see what happens. I could be wrong. Maybe DeMar bounces back and that doesn't happen, but I could definitely see it happening. If DeMar has another game where he struggles. And we'll see what happens with Rap. If Bishop balls out and shows why they drafted him, the things, the positives, the upside, what they saw in him coming out of college, out of Utah. If he looks good in this game, and let's say Rap isn't ready for the following week, and Bishop plays another good game, it's going to be tough for them to put Rap back in there. That's just my opinion. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong.
Yeah. You got to trust these safeties. I think that's another thing too. You got to trust these safeties. You cannot.
Exactly. Yeah. I just don't know if Rap and Hamlin do it, man. For me, I think they, once again, though, I'm not going to hit the panic button because there's only one bad game. I feel like they've played pretty good games up until this point. But I just have a weird feeling that DeMar will not be he won't be the starting safety towards the end of the year. Like, you're going to see a change. I could be wrong, and I hope I am, because I'm happy for DeMar, and I feel like he's played well. But I can also, like I said, I could see McDermott making that change for the veteran and Mike Edwards as well. So don't be shocked if that happens. That's all I'm saying. So, what do you feel about DeMar? Are you sold on DeMar?
No, he's not a. I don't see it. I don't see it. But I don't know. Like why we couldn't pick up Jeffrey Simmons makes no sense to me. They're both
That's
built
another
safeties.
bro, Jarek. That's you're right. Justin Simmons, right? I think it was.
Yep, Justin Simmons.
Yeah,
They're both full they're both free safeties. I don't get it.
I am. It's another. That's another mind-boggling. It wasn't like he got paid buku bucks either.
No,
Like once again, a guy that you could have afforded, like you could have made it work, and you could have been super confident going into the season that you had a one of the best, at least top 5 safeties, and is out there on your team. You'd have no concerns, unless of course injury, but that can happen on any team. But I'm with you. Like once again, it's like the only knock I have on Bean, Jarek, the only knock, and I love the dude. Like I think the guy is really good, and he's done really good job here. The only knock on him is sometimes he's scared to pull the trigger, or like he's too, he hoards his draft picks way too much. And I feel like sometimes he doesn't want to pull the trigger on some of these guys, because he's too concerned about the following year in the cap. Like, there's always ways to bend and work the cap. Like, there's always ways, dude. I'm not saying Brandon Beane should go out and spend like crazy and get this team into a major hole. But, dude, like when there's a guy available that can move the needle, and you really, truly believe that your team is a playoff team, which I do believe this team is a playoff team, you got to make that move. Regardless if you got to bend the cap a little bit, move this contract around. If it makes sense for the team and you see a positive outcome, like where you guys can get deeper into playoffs, possible Super Bowl because you brung this player in, why wouldn't you entertain that idea? Instead of just going with, you know what, we're staying in house. We like DeMar. And like, I just feel like sometimes he's just oversold on his draft picks. He wants to stay in house for everything. I don't get it. That's why it shocked me last year, Jarek, when he made the trade for Rasul, because him. Brandon Beane does not like to do in-season trades often. The Stefon Diggs was a little surprising when he made that move. Other than that,
yeah, I mean,
he swung the fence for Vaughn, but he just doesn't do it often.
Yeah, I'll say quite frankly, if we just would have stuck with the pick, because Brandon means he's admitted they were high on Justin Jefferson. If they didn't trade for Diggs,
you're right.
Our guy. That was the
You're
one
right.
move. I'm like, you just had it. I'm like, yes. I mean, Stefon Diggs at the time, that was a great sign, but it's kind of like, dude, you just had to go for him, did you? You just had out of all the moves where you had to be aggressive, that's the one you could have just, man.
Right, I know. Like I said, though, it's easier said. Like, that's why I do say it's a tough job. Like, we can all in life, we can go back, go, damn, I wish we would have, went this way instead of that way, gotten this or gotten that. Things would have been different. Chose this job over this job. Like, I get it. Like, you can't be perfect. You know what I mean? Like, we all were cool with it at the time. You know what I mean? And Stefon Diggs did get the numbers, but obviously in hindsight now, obviously the right decision would have been take Jefferson. Right. I get that. Right. But you can't go, it's impossible to do that. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to kill him on that so much. But I will say,
I will kill him at AJ Klein and who was that?
Exactly.
I'll kill him on that. That was
like stuff like that. I'll be like, what are you doing? Or not making in-season trades, or like when players are available at a right price. Even the Derrick Henry, I feel like, is a mistake. Like, why wouldn't you even entertain the idea of bringing him in? Like, what would the problem? You're going to stunt James Cook's growth here? Like, who cares? You're bringing in a guy that is a difference maker. Like, why wouldn't you entertain that idea? I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I
$10 million a year, 2 years, $20 million contract.
Dude, I would have paid him. There would have been no problem. Absolutely. I wouldn't even. Who would have been upset with that? Nobody. Like, dude, you could have made that work. Look at all the money he spent. You telling me there's no money? he spent with extensions alone with Ed Oliver and this and that, and bringing Curtis Samuel and MVS. Bro, there's a lot of money that went around, guys, that money could have been used for a dynamic player. Instead, we're giving extensions to guys that don't deserve it and paying guys like MVS and Curtis Samuel wasn't sure. Like, just saying, like, it's okay to spend a little bit on a guy that you know can move the needle for your team and get you to a different direction or get you further down the road. And that's the one thing I would say Brandon Beane has not done so well. He's a little bit gun shy, and I don't understand why. But he has to. Listen, years from now, if we don't win a Super Bowl, and Brandon Beane leaves, and this era is over, I think we'll all look back and say he did a great job, but at the end of the day, he didn't pull the trigger when he should have on some of these players that could have took us to another level. And that will be his downfall if we don't win a Super Bowl, in my opinion, because he's had opportunities, guys, to bring multiple players, matter of fact, in here, either via trade or free agency, and he just didn't do it. And he instead wanted to hoard draft picks. And by the way, I like our draft picks, but none of them are dynamic. There's not one draft pick so far, except for Josh Allen, right? Obviously. Not that I could think of. I could be wrong. Jared, am I wrong? That's dynamic, except for Josh Allen. I like our draft picks. They're all really good.
A dynamic draft pick.
Yeah, like who's been, other than Josh Allen, since, and mind you, I get it. Brandon Beane's been picking late in the first round, late every round. But still, there's always a player that comes out of drafts that is dynamic that you can get later. But who's been, other than Josh, like that dude? Like, wow, that guy's amazing. Teron, okay, spin. You're right on Teron. Okay, there's one. I'll give you that. He's one of the best. He's probably the best nickel. All right, so we got two, Josh and Teron. Who else? Milano? I would not say Milano, spin.
That was
reason I won't, because he's not can't stay healthy. Yeah. I can't say Milano, dude. I would if he was healthy.
And even then, that's Doug Whaley's pick. That's not Brandon Beane's pick.
You're right, and that's Whaley's pick. You're absolutely right. So who's been, other than Allen and Teron? Not, I think no, not Milano, Scott. I'm telling you. And it wasn't even his pick. He's right. It was Whaley's pick. And once again, you got to be on the field and produce. He's never healthy. I like Milano. If Milano's healthy, yes, you could put him on that list. But once again, he's not a Brandon Beane draft pick. So
I would say
Shakir, spin. You're wrong. Shakir, I love Shakir, but he's not there yet. Yep. Dynamic. You consider Shakir dynamic? No, he's not dynamic right now. He could be, maybe, but he's not. Come on, don't lie. You think Shakir's dynamic right now?
I still say that. I still say, Tommy, real quick, the best draft class for the Buffalo Bills, at least in the last decade, was Doug Whaley. That 2017 draft class, when you had Deion Dawkins, Tre'Davious White,
right,
and Milano, all of them were all pro dynamic players.
No, you're right. I would say 2018, because you're also you got Josh Allen,
obviously, but you got Josh, you got Tremaine.
Well, Edmonds, you got to sprinkle Edmonds. I think Edmonds is good, close to dynamic. I don't, he got paid. I don't think he got used right here, Jarek. Edmonds, I think he could have been even better. So I'll consider 2018 good. But and by the way, Cook's spin is not dynamic. There's nothing about Cook that, I'm sorry, you're totally wrong if you think James Cook is dynamic running back. He's Cody Ford, right?
I still say we should have. I'm going to say this to the day I die, man. We should have drafted Rachaad White. Rachaad White was the better running back. I still think that he is the better running back because he brings something that James Cook does not. James Cook has it. He just can't catch the ball. Rachaad White's the better receiving back than James Cook, who you can utilize all over the place, not just on the wheel.
Trey White was 2017, wasn't Brandon Beane's draft pick, so you're wrong. We're talking about Brandon Beane draft picks. Remember, Brandon Beane came here after the 2017 draft. So we can't really count that draft. And yes, Trey White was at one point dynamic until his injuries. And yeah, you could put him on the list, but he's not his list. And no, I'm sorry. I don't think James Cook, regardless if he was a top 5 running back last year, he's not dynamic. He had a good season, but our offensive line was to help really a lot good in his. And I listen, he's a good running back. I'm not dissing James Cook, but you can't call James Cook a dynamic running back. There's not a lot of, by the way, not a lot of dynamic running backs in the NFL. There's a handful, probably. When I mean dynamic, I'm talking about this guy you got to be concerned about. Jarek, I mean, in all honesty, and I like James Cook, but come on, Spin. Jarek, do you really, truly believe when we go in to play defenses that they're saying, man, James Cook, watch out for that dude. He's dynamic. That guy can do it all. He can run through. He can bulldoze you. He can pass protect. He can catch it. Bro, do you remember he dropped another fucking pass for a touchdown? Was against the Jaguars?
He doesn't have hands, and that's just the reality.
So just a heads up. Yeah.
He doesn't have hands.
Yeah, so he's not dynamic to me, is well-rounded and great at almost everything. Pass protection, pass catching, running, physicality. And that's not a diss on James Cook. There's not a lot of running backs like that. But he's not dynamic. He is a guy like that is like Devin Singletary will not be here after his rookie contract. So do you put it this way, Spin? Do you think if he was so dynamic, don't you think that, and we'll talk about this, I promise you he won't be here after his rookie season. Because if he was dynamic, he'll be extended. But he's not going to be. He's gonna move on.
And the question is, are you? And the question is to everybody in the chat: are you willing to pay James Cook, $15 million?
Right. Exactly. No,
because the running back market's going up. Like it's gonna. Because now
like,
the NFL it's changed now. We're going more towards power run scheme.
Yeah.
Like power run zone scheme. Running.
Yep.
The market is getting bigger. So now all of a sudden, in a few years, are you willing to pay that man? Depending on how he does, at least $15 million, and that's minimum.
Right.
I'm not willing to do that, especially when the running back position in college continues to get better and better and better with quality.
Exactly. And by the way, somebody's saying Deion Dawkins once again. Deion Dawkins is 2017, Scott. That was not Brandon Beane. So just a heads up. Y'all want to know James Cook this year? He's 21st in the NFL in running. 227 total yards. That's not dynamic. I'm sorry. He's 27th, guys. Okay. No, I'm sorry. He's 21st in the NFL. So you want to know who's better right now, currently, as we speak? Okay, I'll tell you. Derrick Henry, 480. Mason, 447. Barkley, 435. Kamara, 362. Jonathan Taylor, 349. J.K. Dobbins, 342. Josh Jacobs, 329. Aaron Jones, 321. Lamar Jackson, 308. He's better than our running back, James Cook, right now, currently. Brian Robinson, 307. Hubbard, 296. Connor, 293. Gibbs, 285. Robinson, 285. Montgomery. So Detroit Lions have 2 running backs. Mind you, they have a better offensive line, but our offensive line isn't shit either. They have 2 running backs better than James Cook as we speak. Stevenson, 267. Kyrie Williams, 258. Irving, 247. Pollard, 246. Najee Harris, 228. And there's James Cook at 227. You know who sits behind James Cook, Jarek? Devin Singletary, 221. So if you're going to call James Cook dynamic, I guess call Devin Singletary dynamic, because they're the same. By the way, I mean, they're almost the same. Touchdowns the same, I believe, as well. So stop. James Cook has 3 touchdowns. Singletary is 2. I like James Cook. He's a good running back. He won't be here after his rookie year. He's not dynamic. Okay. And that's what I was going to say with that. So, do you want to go with total? You think he's total yards is even better? So receiving, you want to see what James Cook before we get out of here? Or you really want to go that route, right?
Can you compare him to Rachaad White, please?
Dude, James Cook receiving right now He had 39 yards week 1, 39. Week 2, 78 against my 71. Oh, let's see here. Am I seeing this wrong or am I reading this wrong? He had 39. Oh, I'm sorry. That was rushing. Okay, receiving yards. Week 1 against Arizona, 32. Week 2 against Miami, 17. Jacksonville, he had 48. You know how many he had against Baltimore, guys? 9. He had 3 receptions week 1, 1 reception week 2, 4 receptions week 4, and 1 reception. How is that dynamic? What is he doing? I'm not saying he's a bad player, so stop with the whole I'm not bashing the guy. I'm just telling you that's not what is that? What's dynamic about that? That's not he is not am I reading this wrong, Jarek? Like what am I saying wrong here? He's not dynamic. I'm sorry. He's 9th in total touchdowns, running back. You know what his average is in the league? He's 84th, 4.5. Guys, stop. Like, he's okay. He's good. But he's not great. He's not a needle mover. So you're wrong. You're totally wrong. He had a good year last year. He's a good running back. He won't be here after his rookie contract. I promise you. And with that being said, we've been on here 2 hours and 40 minutes. We are done. Jarek is done. We are done. We've been on here way too long. Jarek, where can they find you?
Jant Sports on YouTube and Jant716 on Twitter or X.
There you go. Guys, go support him. And if you're an Alabama fan, he's a big-time Alabama fan. By the way, I hope my Hurricanes see you in the playoffs, buddy. We are ready for you. We are so ready for you. Cam Ward, by the way.
You gotta get past Clemson.
Cam Ward is legit. I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know how long we're gonna have him for, but Cam Ward is he's a really good quarterback. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys, everyone that stayed on here. This is a long ass show, man. Once again, thank you, Jarek, for filling in for Mikey. Appreciate you as always. Bills Mafia. I will be back tomorrow for AFC East Shakedown at 4:00. I'm not sure if Mikey's doing his Fantasy Kingdom at 2:00, but if he is, you'll see it. You'll get notified. And we will be here pregame and postgame on Sunday. Until next time, until tomorrow, we are out of here. Bills Mafia, you rule. Peace out. Go Bills.